Right, welcome everybody. We have got our first guest of the season, 28-year-old centre-back and captain for Wolverhampton Wanderers. Born in St Helens, so not a proper Scouser.
No.
Started at Liverpool before going to Sheffield United and Huddersfield, before going to Wolves. England international at every level, from under 16 to full international. 8 caps, 1 goal. He's a leader and someone who's described by the England coaching staff as the most important player in the England World Cup squad. And most important of all, he's Dave's mate.
That's an impressive intro, Co, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Thanks for having me, fellas. Real impressive. That's the best intro I've ever had. I'm being honest with you, mate. Thank you very much.
No problem, mate.
You have gone to dizzying heights, though. Usually, lads, I'd be able to text Co's just to come on here, but I had to go through his PA to book this in.
I said, can you give Conor a ring? He went, mate, it's not as straightforward as that. You've got to go through his agent.
No. You know me best. I've turned up today and he's in a Tesla. Mate, he's in a Tesla. Hey.
Dave is big time, isn't he?
When Dave's with us, he's so leery, mate. It's embarrassing.
Do you know, when I played with him, mate, the best professional I've ever played with in my life, he's in a fucking Tesla today.
Yeah.
Looking after the planet, Co.
Con, he only hangs around us to give it the big one. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he speaks to us like a piece of dirt most of the time, doesn't he?
Yeah, off air. Oh, ruthless, mate.
Nicest man in the world, this fella. I don't believe that, mate, honestly. Nicest fella in the world.
Nicest guy in the world.
So, Co, I've played you for quite a few years, but let's go right back to the start in St Helens at school. What were you like?
Do you know what? I was a good lad. Real good lad, mate. Real good lad. I always done it right. Always something that I'd done right. I always had a little bit of a laugh with me mates, if I'm being honest with you, but always done it right. It was always something that school was boss for me. I loved it. Loved every part of it, if I'm being honest. I don't want to go back. I wouldn't want to go back now. But I loved every minute of it, yeah.
And football? Best player?
Tried to be. We had a couple of good lads in our school, if I'm being honest with you. Yeah, we had a good footy team in our school growing up in primary and high school, if I'm being honest. So we had another lad called Marcus Gilio who went through Liverpool with me up until 18s. We had a good little team, to be fair, but I tried to be. There was other players who were good, though.
Yeah.
What were you like academically?
All right, in and out, mate.
Average.
In and out, yeah. I wasn't clever. I wasn't like mad clever fella. Do you know what I mean? But I had my head switch onto things, and I was all right. I was fine.
Streetwise.
Yeah, I got through school fine. I wasn't a bad lad or anything like that, but I got through fine, mate. Yeah.
Nice, mate. So, what age did you start going to Liverpool then?
When I was 6, 7. So when you're a kid, you know yourself, you're always at different academies. I've got my kids now. My kids play for Everton, Liverpool, and different things at the minute. Do you know what I mean? Go training with them. So it was like that for myself, and then I had the opportunity to obviously sign for Liverpool when I was 8, and because I was a Liverpool fan, it was a big thing for obviously my family, my dad, my mum. So that was what I wanted to do. I chose to sign for Liverpool, and it was something that I wanted to do. And listen, it was amazing, mate. Amazing. What a time. Do you know what I mean?
And then once you're at Liverpool that age, was kind of school. You obviously go and you said you're a good lad, but was it no interest? I'm going to be a footballer.
Basically, as a kid, that's what you like, aren't you? Do you know what I mean? When you've got something like that and you play like, listen, it might sound a bit mad, or I don't mean to sound any big time there, but kids look at you because you're the one at Liverpool, or like I said, I mentioned the lad who was there with us as well, and they were the same, looking at you because you're the ones who play for Liverpool, so he was kind of cool for that. They kind of looks at you for that. Do you know what I mean? So it was always wanted to be a footballer. I'll be honest with you. Maybe that was why I wasn't the cleverest, because I always had football on the side, and that was what I wanted to do, really.
Gives you status, doesn't it, when you're the best footballer, doesn't it?
Wearing your Liverpool trackie to school.
Yeah, I guess you
know the dance, mate. You know the dance.
Gets you a few girls underneath
the shirt and tie.
Sorry, I can't make today. I'm playing for Liverpool.
You know the score.
When you're the best in the school as well, and you've got a bright orange bowler haircut and freckles all over your face, it helps, doesn't it? You don't, you know what I mean? You don't get as much stick as what you ordinarily would. So yeah, that was always a good one for me. So obviously at Liverpool, you're tender age of 28 now. We've all spoken previously about our apprenticeships and doing our YTS. So was it the cleaning of the boots and the equipment and the baths and the moving the goals?
No, do you know what, mate? It was totally different, because I hear them stories when I first come to Wolves from all you boys, but it was different because we were based at Kirby, so Liverpool had Melwood. Do you know what I mean? So Melwood was in West Derby, and we were obviously based at Kirby, and you never done none of that because you were never around the first team, you were never around the reserves, you were never around the 23s, because they were all based at Melwood. And listen, Melwood was like this amazing thing. Whenever you went there, mate, it was incredible, I'll be honest. But so you never had none of that. So I'll be honest with you, we were quite looked after, if I'm being honest. And I can imagine it's worse now for kids coming through in terms of being looked after. But we were really looked after, because when you got to 18, you were the biggest ones at the academy. You were the main ones, really.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
so it wasn't like that.
We've spoken a lot about how that's helped our characters over the years. You know, at the time, for me personally, it was horrible. You know, to have to go through it, and it's like the pros are on you, and you all the cleaning of the boots and whatnot. But we spoke about how it sort of built our characters. What was it for you around that time that helped you build your character then? What was the adversity?
Do you know what really pushed me, mate, was Sheffield United. Right. That really gave me a big wake-up call, a big lesson, if I'm being honest with you, because Sheffield United, we were in the same league as Wolves at the time when you smashed it, mate. And
so this was on loan, wasn't it?
This was on loan, mate. Yeah, I went to Sheffield on loan, sorry, and that was a massive wake-up call for me because it was League One. We had Nigel Clough, who was old school as anything. I loved him, by the way, incredible, but old school as anything. Everything was old school, and you had to look after yourself. And I went and never played as much. I played every game for Liverpool. The 18s, I was captain, I was doing different things. And I went to Sheffield, I was in and out the team. I was playing centre mid, I was playing right wing, I was playing as a number 10, all this sort of stuff. And I was in and out the team. So it become hard because I'd gone from playing every minute, being probably one of the main men at Liverpool 18s, going to Sheffield, and Nigel Clough was on you big time, mate. So
I went on loan with Nigel Clough at Burton Albion.
Yeah.
I don't know if he did this session with you.
Go on.
But he puts himself in goal.
Yeah.
And he was like, shoot. So all the lads are lined up shooting.
on the line.
And they're just smashing the ball and he can't use his hands. And he stood there and we're all smashing it and he's just chesting it and heading it.
And he used to cane you if you got out the way of it. So someone from me to you away had smashed the ball at the goal and you had to just stand and take it. Your hands are behind your back. You have to throw your head at it.
That is a bit old school, that, isn't it?
I swear.
Mick McCarthy session, that.
But you think of Nigel Clough as being like a ball player and a footballer, and he was like, this is what you do. So next person in goal, get the ball and just smashing the ball. Right, you did it to him and he just like, go on lads. Honestly, chesting it, hitting his stomach, his face and everything.
You know what was brilliant? Honestly, every day with Nigel Clough, right, it's nowhere to lie, that we used to do small sideds every game. It was every single day in training, every day. We never used to do tactical stuff. We never worked on the other team. We never done meetings. We never done anything. Nothing like that. It was literally just small sideds every game. He'd stand on the side and batter you on the side. And like I said, I loved him. But batter you from the side. And this one day, he must have been looking for one of his licenses, you know, one of the A-class or whatever it is. One of your licenses. And the fella was in, obviously, looking at him. Assessing him, yeah. So we're doing a passing session. We come out and all the lads are like,
we've never done this.
What's going on here? Where's me bib? Honestly, let's crack onto a small sign. He's saying, right, lads, receive it on the out. What's going on here? You know what I mean? He was getting assessed by it was brilliant, honestly, though. But that was the real, don't get me wrong, Liverpool was fantastic for me, but that was the real time that really opened my eyes. Training ground was different, but fantastic club, mate. You know?
He was classed for days off as well, wasn't he?
Amazing. Took us to Marbella. Mate. So we got to Wembley. We got to Wembley in the FA Cup semi, so we beat Forest in the quarters. And he said, right, lads, we're going to Marbella. So we all thought, so at the time we knew he was good for trips, do you know what I mean? We always knew he took the lads away. But we thought a little bit of footy must be getting played, just a little bit. Honestly.
But at least the boots need to be at least in the skip.
Do you know what I mean? Something's got to be being played. And he just went, nah, no balls are coming. So we were all like, what? So I don't drink. So I don't drink. So all the lads were like, now it's talking. Do you know what I mean? Literally went out there, lads got on it for 3-4 days and you never seen him. So his only rule was that you had to meet up for breakfast and dinner. That was his only rule. You had to show your face at breakfast and dinner. Even if it was just for 5 minutes. Lads were literally turning up for... I mean, someone said they've seen me. I swear. But that was his own rule. Breakfast and dinner, you had to be there and then off you go. Go and enjoy yourself.
And what was the effect of that?
It was brilliant, mate. It was brilliant. Oh, mate, it was incredible. It was incredible. And do you know what? It's so old school, innit? It is, because you'd never get that now, would you? No. Do you know what I mean? This day and age now, you'd never get that now. But in terms of morale and camaraderie and just something to look forward to, mate, do you know what I mean? Like, literally, when we come in for that Forest game, you said, right, lads, we're going to Marbella for 2-3 days. Remember Matt Hill? Remember Hilly, don't you? Hilly played for Wolves. Oh, fantastic, right? So he went out, had a few drinks, this, that, and the other, and he was dead big on stretching and kind of looking after himself, weren't he? So we played Preston. When we literally come back, we played Preston a couple of days later. It was madness. And we were buzzing. We got a 0-0 draw. And we were saying, like, lads have been on the Raz 3-4 days and just got a 0-0 draw in League One. It was top for us. But Hilly was coming on. We got an injury just before half-time. Hilly come on just before half-time. And we could see him, right, mate. We could see him stretching off on the side. Stretching off, just getting ready to come on. Literally 44 minutes. He sprints to defend the corner. And next minute, you can see him at the corner again. Next minute, he's giving it to the guy.
Oh, no.
Giving it to the guy. Could have been out on the lash, but honestly, brilliant. Brilliant, mate.
Come on, 44 minutes, you're off at half time.
Before he got me, he's on the bed getting his arms stretched. It was
mate, we'll come on to that in a minute, but a different world nowadays, isn't it? Because we spoke about, like, I mean, I'm a bit older than Dave, but we used to have, like, Peter Reid on the back of the bus on the way home. There's the Loggers lads, everyone. And it's not just one or two, everyone. Like, it's the whole squad, like, getting lashed on the way. And I know it's not. It's different nowadays, but there's something to be said for that, isn't it? For the camaraderie.
Oh, mate, it's massive. It's massive. Even back then, you know yourself, mate. Do you know what I mean? It was huge. My time there, mate, I absolutely loved. And like I said, it opened my eyes just because, one, it was a fantastic club, brilliant manager, brilliant staff. But the lads there were so together. And it was just little things like that. Do you know what I mean? Nights out, lads getting on the ale. And like I said, I don't drink, but I enjoy going out. But it was just, it was so good, man. We
spoke a lot, Con, about a balance, having that balance, and obviously at the top level, Dave was saying that's sort of, it's gone away a little bit now, and understandably so because of obviously what's involved. But then you
It's
talk
the
about
pressures nowadays. You can't get away with it because of the pressures that are on you guys at the top.
No, I laugh when you get someone saying, they're not in touch with their fans as much as what they used to be. And I'm thinking, what do you expect them to do?
Yeah,
You can't go and sit in the Red Lion with like anymore and have 4
Well,
packs.
can you imagine if one of our teams went to Marbella like we did with the Mexico team? Do you know what I mean? Can you imagine everything that'll come out about it? Do you know what I mean? So it's tough. Obviously, it wouldn't get to them lengths and them extremes because I just think everybody's always improving, aren't they? The league this year especially is incredible, isn't it? So I think it's tough to do now, but back then was so good. Yeah, it was brilliant.
At Liverpool then, coach, who was sort of the players your age or in and around you were good as well?
Do you know what, mate? I was part of a real good side. Jack Robbo, you'd have played with Robbo, who's obviously now at Sheffield. We had John Flanagan, Suso, played against him for Sevilla in Europa League.
Serious player.
Honest to God, what a player.
Go on, who's that? AC Milan as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, so Sevilla got him from AC Milan.
Yeah,
what a player. Left-footed number 10. Mate, I swear.
I don't know him, left-footed. I don't know him. Suso.
Yeah, you can't get near him.
Did Liverpool buy him?
Liverpool would have bought him, I think they bought him from Cadiz, if I remember right.
Oh, no, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I think they bought him. So he was part of our team, our youth cup team, our youth team, but he was always playing above. Do you know what I mean? He was always in the resis and all that sort of stuff. So Suso, Jack Robbo, Andre Wisdom played quite a bit.
Yeah.
Raheem was in our team. So Sterling was in our team, Jordan I was in our team, but Raheem was, I always remember, mate, it was incredible. So when we signed him, he was only 14. We was in the 18s, or 14, 15.
Where did he come from?
QPR. We got him from QPR. Honest to God, what a player, mate. But we was in the 18. We were playing Everton away, and Everton had a great team. Jose Baxter, Shane Duffy, Mustafi, all these sorts of players. They were all older than us. And Luke Garbett played, and I grew up playing with Luke Garbett in the England ages and that, and Raheem played. I've never seen a performance like it in my life. It was his first ever game for Liverpool. He was 15, playing with the 18s, and it was remarkable, mate. Honestly, remarkable. We ended up winning the game 4-3, but I think he scored 2. He was incredible, mate. Incredible.
Disrespect he gets is frightening, isn't he? Sterling. He's so good, mate.
Yeah,
like, ridiculously good.
Again, isn't it? He's like unbelievable. His goal scoring records are joke, isn't it? The only people who disrespect him.
Everyone thinks he's finished, and he's like 26,
mate,
25,
26.
It's painful to listen to, isn't it? Because like you see the stuff that he does, it just must be a personal thing. Like Sam says, it doesn't come from anyone's got anything about him, does it? Let's be honest.
When you're right at the top, though, you just like there's always going to be criticism, isn't there? You look at Ronaldo, you fall 5% when you're at the top, you're going to get criticism.
He looks after himself so well as well,
Does he?
Do you know what I mean? Do you know, like in terms of like professionalism and all that, he's just so on it. And you see it, mate. Did you see his goal last night? What a goal, mate.
Good lad.
It's like you say though, Con, innit? You can't not, can you? You can't not.
That's what I mean, And if you drop off, mate, people will overtake you. People will catch it up because everyone's looking for that extra 1%, aren't they? 2%. But the way he looks after himself and what he does, mate. And let's be honest, mate, he's been doing this since he was, 17?
Yeah.
He made his debut at Liverpool.
I think
at the top.
I think mental resilience as well, because he's been written off quite a few times and he then bounces back. Like I go back to
100%.
the Euros. I remember the first time I was watching the Euros, the team comes out, he's starting. All my mates and people in the pub watching, why is he starting Sterling?
Everyone.
He was unbelievable. Scored first game,
first game, second game, scored a header. It's Czech Republic. It's incredible, mate.
Well, come on, mental resilience is massive, isn't it? When you get like to your level, like, you need it, don't you? What about the first teamers? They didn't really come across the Liverpool first teamers then much when you were a kid.
Yeah, so the people in front of me, it was always going to be hard, mate. It was. Do you know what? I think the best thing for me when I was growing up was that I was realistic. Listen, you always want to play for the club you're at. Do you know what I mean? I always wanted to play for Liverpool. That was something I always wanted to do. But I was realistic in terms of the players in front of me. With Steven Gerrard, Jordan Henderson, Lucas Leiva played every minute of every game. Do you know what I mean? These sorts of players, and even below that was Jay Spearden and people like this. John Joe Shelby was there at the time. So I'm looking at these players thinking, I'm going to get in here. Do you know what I mean? No matter how much you want it. I think as a player and as a man, I think you've got to be a little bit realistic as well. So I was always training with them. I ended up going up to Melwood full time from obviously playing in the 18s and the 23s, which was brilliant. But I was at Melwood full time, but then I was playing for the reserves at the same time. So that was brilliant for me because that was under Brendan. Brendan was fantastic, mate. Honestly, really, really good.
So was that reserves as opposed to 23s at the time?
Yeah, so no, 23s. So
so it was 23s.
Yeah, 23s, mate.
So how did that compare then? Obviously, you go from the 23s and you start mixing in and around the first team. You're seeing them, obviously, day to day, you're around them. How does that compare?
Massive difference. Just to see how they looked after themselves, looked after the bodies, trained every single day. People who wanted to train every single day. There was no one really missing them sorts of things, and the tactical stuff side of it as well was massive. And like I said, Brendan Rodgers was brilliant for that. Brilliant, even with the young lads. The amount of lads he was trying to develop and make better and bring into the first team was brilliant. It was just so hard for me to get in, mate. Honestly, there was that many good players in front of me. And,
some big players.
And it helped me, mate, because I was going back to the reserves and I was so confident, mate. Honestly, playing back for the reserves, the 23s, it was massive for me because I was going back thinking, I'm playing, and it was a different way of playing for me because I was training with them every day.
Did it suit you the way Brendan?
Yeah, I loved it. I was playing as a centre midfielder at the time, so I was playing as a number 4, number 6. Do you know what I mean? Whatever you want to call it these days, and it really helped me, mate. Really, really helped me. The way he saw the game, the way he wanted to play was fantastic. And like I said, what he was like with the young lads was really, really good because he wanted to develop young lads as much as he possibly could. So that was fantastic for me. Yeah.
It's good. That's good foresight for the manager because I think it's difficult when you're trying to build a team. You haven't got time for the young lads because he could be in the job for a year or 2 years. So how much time are you going to put into these? Like
So tough.
17,
So tough.
Well, let's be honest. He was doing it with young lads as well as being successful. Do you know what I mean? Because then a couple of years later, a lot of them young Flano played left back when he nearly won the league.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? John Flanagan was part of our team. Suso was involved in that.
Sterling.
Raheem was obviously playing every game. So Andre played quite a bit. Andre Wisdom. So these players were part of our team. So he's bringing them in as well as being successful. Do you know what I mean?
I think for a manager, surely it's got to be, if they are getting the results and being successful, they can have an eye on the youth and they can look to develop. I suppose you can't have a focus on the development if you're not getting those results. That's a tough place to be for a manager, I suppose.
Yeah, it's really tough, mate, because if you start bringing youth in, you start getting beat, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You're in trouble, you really are. So I thought what he done was brilliant for Liverpool because we just mentioned 4 players there who were well and truly a big part of that.
Unreal, yeah.
So as a kid as well at Liverpool, I remember you boys were in this Champions League sort of thing, wasn't it? Under 19s.
Yeah, next gen.
it's the next gen, like you
Next
tell me
gen.
about it. Let's hear about it.
The next gen.
I've heard. I don't think I've ever really spoke to you about this,
Cool.
but
Yeah.
you got the chance to play in your hometown at St Helens
Yeah. I did, yeah.
against Ajax.
Chance to be a star. Chance, all family there. Chance to be a star. Let's get man of the match.
And I'm not being funny.
Come and watch me. Come and watch me.
Everyone in that ground knew who I was.
Yeah.
Honest to God, everyone. Because it's 5 minutes from my house. It's 5 minutes from where I got brought up. So we used to play at Saints.
Dream.
Oh, man.
Time to shine.
Honestly,
It's all time.
100%, mate. And do you know what? I'll go back to the game, and we mentioned Suso, right? Their team was incredible, by the way. Mate, we didn't get near them. Honest to God, no one of them teams where we play in the games, mate. You can't seem to get near the ball. Do you know what I mean? You just move the ball. When you went to someone, it had gone and all kinds happening. There was about 8,000 or 9,000 there. It was incredible for us. And we had a penalty. It was 1-0 to them. We had a penalty. I was the penalty taker for our team. Suso picked the ball up. So I'm thinking to myself, I can't fight with Suso here in front of 8,000 people. Do you know what I mean? Suso missed the penalty, and I say to this day, it would have been different if you'd have given me the penalty. Honest to God, I say to this day, mate, we got tonked 6-0, and what a team they were. Honestly, what a team.
Did they have any players that you might?
Yeah, so Klassen played. David
Yeah.
Klassen, who was obviously at Everton, he
Yeah.
played. Do you remember a lad called Fisher? Victor Fisher was his name. He played for Ajax for quite a bit. Played for Denmark. He was from Denmark. What a player he was, by the way.
The Dutch philosophy and way of coaching
frightening.
them.
I swear, mate, it was incredible. Honestly, they were so good. And like I said, I had that many people.
All
at the
your
game.
family there and
That
everything.
many
like,
people.
If you ever wanted to have a good game,
And
this
you know
is
when
now.
Well, how did it end?
Honestly, mate, I went up to the lounge. You know, you're embarrassed going up to the lounge. I kind of went and put me on like that. And you know, when you come in and just try and get out. Let's go. We need to get the car out as quick as we can. Oh, honestly, it was.
Everybody going a bit. I thought you were going to be really good, Conor. I don't know.
Yeah, it was. So what happened there, Conor?
Levels.
Yeah,
Had it finished days?
Hey?
Had it finished 5s?
6, wasn't it?
6 it finished 6.
Was it a bit?
Yeah, but
that way?
if Conor been on the
Oh,
pen,
they'd have
it
won,
would've
yeah.
been
It'd been, well, that's what I go back to.
Did you kind of have a little debrief to yourself after the game and think, wow,
Yeah, well,
I'm not the level I thought I was?
Oh, mate, I lay in the bed at night and I was thinking, before that game, we was at Liverpool. What was it? Quarterfinals? Did you say? Was it quarterfinals or semis?
Yeah.
Whatever it was, quarterfinals, semi, quarterfinals, the next gen playing Ajax. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, we're a good side, we're going to win this. Then all of a sudden, you get turned over. I'm laying in bed that night thinking, that's the level we've got to get to. Yeah. It's going to be hard, this, because they were that good, mate. Honestly, they were. And by the way, I mentioned them all them players played in that game that I mentioned who played on Liverpool's first team. And you're thinking to yourself,
Yeah, these are unbelievable.
storm, mate. Do you know what I mean? It was they were that good.
In what way, Con? Were they like tactically? Were they better in terms of their physicality, or
They were. It felt like they were quick and
Technical,
fast and strong.
yeah,
It felt like I don't know whether they were, but that's what it felt like, mate. Believe me. But just everything, just how you can imagine a Dutch team to be. That was what they were. Exactly what you see on paper. Exactly what you see from the Dutch teams. Obviously, we know them from the past. Exactly that fast, strong, quick. Like I said, you get to someone, the ball will be gone. You just couldn't find anything. Do you know what I mean? You couldn't get near anybody. So it was a real eye opener, mate. Yeah, real eye opener.
We said that a few times as well, mate. Like, you find your level. Like, we've all found our level, like, at different times, haven't we? You know, like, we're all the best players at school, but you get somewhere, whether or not it be like non-league or League 2 or League 1, where you suddenly go, hold on a minute, I'm miles away from this, miles away. So then, you left Liverpool, went to Sheffield United.
Yeah.
How was that then? Was that a tough one?
Do you know what, mate? We just touched on it there, but...
So you went on loan, and then did you sign after that for Sheffield United on a
No, I went on loan to Sheffield
United,
United, mate, and then came back. And I'll be honest with you, when I come back, I wanted to sign back there. That was something I wanted, because I didn't know Huddersfield were interested at the time, but I wanted to go. I loved it that much, mate.
Wanted to go back to Marbella.
Yeah, just because United club
Get involved in that.
You got out. You got
So what did you like about it, Con? Was it like the environment? Was it the gaffer? Or just hoping to write into a contract and go Marbella at the end of the season?
Every year. But honestly, I wanted because I enjoyed it that much. And by the way, when I first went, I went there under David Weir. So David Weir signed me, and he was manager there with Lee Carsley. And by the way, what are two fellas, them two are really, really good, really brilliant people. But we really struggled. I think when David Weir left after about 12, 13 games, we were bottom. Sheffield United bottom of League One. It was horrific. Do you know what I mean? It was horrendous, and you'd never heard of it. Sheffield United, they should never have been bottom of League One, and we were. So there was big problems, and then so it was tough at that because I was in and out the team. I weren't playing. I was, like I said, I was out of position. I was right wing, centre mid, number 10. I was all these positions.
Right wing,
mate. Honest to God, mate, it was mad. Yeah, I scored my first goal. Sheffield, you right wing, like in Orient. Yeah, right wing. But so then Nigel Clough came in and just completely went old school on it. Completely. And some of the stories I mentioned here, but even as much as picking the team, Dave, like I said, you never do meetings, you never do tactical and that, you never do nothing like that. And it was kind of, we'd get to the ground now before the game, pre-match at home, no pre, do you know what I mean? You eat at home, sort yourself out, and you come. And we'd literally be sat in the dressing room. This was one of the first days, and he'd done this, we got used to this. But he would literally come in, and one of the first days, this was every game, by the way, he'd have A4 piece of paper with the team written on it. Like, you know, like Mike Bassett, back of a ciggy pack and that. But A4 piece of paper, write the team on it, and literally come in, pin it on the wall, and walk back out. And like, literally all the lads would be like that. Round the A4 piece of paper, look and see if he's in the team, on the bench, whatever it was. And then he came in literally one of the first days and said, listen, whatever you want to do, you do. If you want to go out and warm up, you go out and warm up. If you want to stay in here, stay in here. As long as you're ready for the start of the game, you're ready. Wow. And honestly, it was just complete opposite way from what David Weir was obviously trying to do. And like I said, David Weir was a brilliant person, but he was just the opposite end of the spectrum. It really helps us.
He's wanting to take people to take responsibility, isn't he? He was quite like that. I mean, I remember he loved all the kids being around and everything, didn't he? All the family. Yeah. I mean, I was only with him at Burton on loan for about 3 months. Yeah. But he was very much like, you're in charge. You're in charge of your fitness, and like you do your session, and that would go.
Did he ever carry the cricket ball around?
Yeah, he did that all the time. He had a dog. He said bring a dog. Bring the dog in.
Yeah, so he's got a dog.
Ball around. Everyone be chasing.
Yeah, but do you know, like he'd walk around with a cricket ball. So he'd love cricket. Then so some days you come in, whether it be rubbish, and you have to go in the indoor and have a game of cricket. Do you know what I mean? Because he just sacked training off and going in the indoor. So he'd walk around in the pocket with this obviously corky ball. And you'd walk past him in the corridor, so he'd come the opposite way. And if you threw it to him, you dropped it, it's a fine. Do you know what I mean? It's like little thing carried corky balls.
Love that, I'll just make a note of that.
Yeah. Honestly, brilliant, mate, brilliant.
So obviously then, the Sheffield United thing happened, obviously we touched on that, and then it was on to Huddersfield.
Yeah, that was it, mate. And to be fair, like I said, at the end of my loan, I really wanted to go back to Sheffield, even though they were in League One. Just because I loved everything about it. I loved the club, I loved the people, I loved the manager there. I thought everything was brilliant and it made me develop. But then, for one reason or another, it never happened. And I heard of a little bit of thing from Huddersfield, and it was great for me, mate. Great for me. Just another club that was, again, filled with fantastic people, a brilliant manager. Mark Robbins actually signed me.
What league was that, Con?
In the Championship, mate.
And you got ball?
So
how much did you ball for?
200 grand, 300 grand, whatever it was. But do you know what? After that Sheffield United season, this is nowhere of a lie, I met with Stuart Webber. So, you know, Stuart Webber was obviously, he was at Wolves, wasn't he? Yeah. So I spoke to Kenny on the phone, Kenny Jackett, mate, however many times I spoke to him on the phone. I'm thinking, I'm going to Wolves. I thought I was going to Wolves because obviously he's got promoted that season, didn't he? Yeah. Mate, and honestly, everything just went quiet. I was on the phone one night, where I was laying in bed, my phone rang, obviously a no number. And my missus tells the story better because I was sweating, I was shaking. I was Kenny Jackett on the phone, and he was dead straight down the point. Kenny Jackett, remember what he was like? So I'm on the phone. It was quite a hard conversation because he was quite tough to talk to. So I'm on the phone, and I'm quite chatty. Do you know what I mean? So I'm like waffling on, and he's like one word answering the other end of the phone. But he's saying, "Yeah, we want to sign. We want to do this. We're going to sign a midfielder and all this." So I'm like, "Yeah, great. Yeah, no worries at all. Looking forward to it." Blah, blah. And it just never happened. So that was something that was a little bit disappointing. I never thought it would come back round again. And then obviously Huddersfield come in, but it was brilliant for me. Honestly, Mark Robbins signed me, and then he got sacked the day later. So we signed me. This is no way of a lie.
Me and the gaffer were like that.
Honest to God. So we signed me. We played Bournemouth on the weekend. We got tonked 4-5-0. They were brilliant that year in the champ. And got tonked 4-5-0. He went on the Sunday.
So you signed, was it in the Jan you signed then?
No, so I signed at the start of the season.
Start of the season.
So I don't actually know what went on the season before. I don't know if he was in... It was tougher than the year before. I don't know, but mate, honest to God, he got sacked the first day of the season. And I was like, what's going on here?
Who came in after that guy?
So Chris Powell.
Oh, right,
Chris Powell,
okay.
what a fella, mate. Honestly, what a man, what a coach, what a great person he
With
was.
England now.
Yeah, with England, and I'm still close to him now. Speaking to him the other day, he's obviously working at Tottenham. Do you know what I mean? So
Full of energy and everything.
just what a great person, mate. And he brought in a fella called Alex Dyer, who was manager Kilmarnock for a spell. Again, exactly the same as Powley. Just fantastic person, and he was the ideal person really for Huddersfield at the time. Do you know what I mean? Just to help us and settle things down. But he was great for me. Played every single game. I think he played 45, 46 games that season. Centre midfield, mate. Yeah, I had number 10 on my back.
Brilliant.
At number 10,
Yes,
Coady 10, do you know what I mean? I'll never get that near that again. Never get near that again. But and that was brilliant for me, mate. Yeah, loved it.
Must have been hard though leaving Liverpool though. I know you said you wanted to, but that's like you've been there since
do you know what, mate? It was something where loads of people say that to me. And as I mentioned before to you, that I was quite realistic. I was a realistic lad, and it wasn't that hard. I'll be honest with you, because I was desperate to play football. I'd had such a good year at Sheffield, where I'd been part of this first team. I was playing in front of crowds, and Sheffield, we always had a great crowd there. It was always 20-odd thousand, and I'd gone from doing that, and then all of a sudden I was going to go back to Liverpool and play 23. I just weren't. I weren't ready for that. My mindset was completely off that. Do you know what I mean? So it was something where I was proper ready to leave, and it wasn't a hard. Thank you, mate. It wasn't a hard decision to obviously leave.
Just quickly before we leave Liverpool completely,
Yeah.
the players there. Who talk
to
were
me
like the
about
best?
Stevie Gerrard.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to say. I wanted to be diplomatic.
Honest to God, I've
G.
never seen someone, mate. So the way he trained, he would fly through you and just stare at you on the floor if you went down injured. Honestly, that's how much he wanted to win. Honest to God, I've never seen anything like it in my life. You could have been 16, you could have been 35.
Didn't care.
And the way he trained, mate, to stop you scoring or to stop you going through him or to stop you passing round him or to stop you taking it round him, he would literally leave you there, look at you and go, it's up to you now what you want to do. Do you know what I mean? He was that good. He's passing. Everything he'd done was just at another level, mate. Honestly, another level.
So your sort of hero then, someone you looked up to.
Without a doubt. He was, cause obviously he was everything to Liverpool, wasn't he?
Yeah.
When I was a kid, he was everything. He'd done everything. He was played every position, scored all the goals, assists. He'd done everything. Just the complete midfielder. And he was amazing, mate. And then just to get that, I always wanted to play with him. And I was lucky enough, I played, just before I left, I went to America with Liverpool and I played in a pre-season friendly in Charlotte against AC Milan. And I come on for the second half and I played centre mid with him. And that was the only thing I ever wanted to do. And it was a friendly and no one will ever probably remember it. Yeah. But for me, it was the biggest thing I'd done when I was there. Do you know what I mean? Just to play with him was incredible, yeah.
It's funny, isn't it? Because we speak a lot on this podcast about like your ability and then mentality as well. And out of all the stories you could have told about his left foot, his right foot, his assists, it's actually the fact that it doesn't matter who you are in training, he'd stick it on you and then go, right, where are you going with this
Deal
one?
with it.
And it's like we speak about that a lot on here, don't we? About the mentality of players to drive to get them there. You can have all the ability in the world, but if you ain't got that up there, then
of course. And there's no point.
There's a running theme with him, isn't it?
And honestly, like I said, just the way he would not care about hating someone, get up, sort yourself out. Do you know what I mean? But that's the level you've got to be at if you want to train with me and you want to help this team and you want to help this club. That's the level you've got to be at.
The best players, the most successful players, they seem to have that. Like I've just watched the Rooney documentary, and it's all over that, isn't it? It's
how good is that?
That desire to win, and it doesn't matter who he hurts to get through. He has to win for Man United. Gerrard has to win for Liverpool, and it means the world to him. Would you ever? So when you're training with him and they do five-a-side, are you ever worried about being on his team because he wants to win that match, or are you like, nah, I want to be on Gerrard's team?
Do you know what really let me down, Edo? Was I was too simple, I was too simple in training because there was that. I was frightened, not frightened, a little bit scared, a little bit of fear. Do you know what I mean? To really let them down, to let them players down. Even being on Carragher's team, Carragher was exactly the same, by the way. Okay, not to the level of Steven Gerrard, but the wanting to win and that, listen, you've got to perform. If you're on my team, you've got to perform. And that was a big problem of mine at Liverpool, I think, mate, because I was so young and so naive, and I was a massive Liverpool fan growing up, and Liverpool was kind of everything to me at the time. I'd go up and just keep it simple. I'd get the ball and pass backwards. I wouldn't open my body up, I wouldn't switch. Do you know what I mean? I'd get the ball and I'd pass back, and I'd keep it simple. And that was a big downfall for me, I think, because I never really showed probably what I was really about, even in the games that I played.
It's understandable. Was Bellamy there at the same time as well? Because I've told these boys stories about Bellamy, and that was probably like me when I was on Bella's team. It was more, rather than me saying, I want to show Bella's how good I am. So I don't want to make a mistake.
100%, mate.
That was kind of my.
Do you know what, mate? I trained with him a couple of times when Kenny was there, so I was really young at this point. I must have been 16, 17. And he was obviously there, and I trained one day, and by the way, you know what I'm like. I've never trained since that day in a pair of trousers. ever since that day. So we were playing a little possession thing. I'll always remember it, mate, because listen, this was the type of character he was, and people obviously like him, people don't, whatever it may be. But I thought, as a professional, like we talk about mentality, he was tip top. Do you know what I mean?
You said that, Edo, didn't you?
Yes,
Honest to God, and I stretched for a ball one day and I couldn't get the ball, and it was down to me kecks. He, honest to God, in front of all the first team, he come up to me and he went, "That's what you get for wearing trousers." Do you know what I mean? And since that day, I've never worn trousers in my life, ever in my life, because it's just the pants. I can't stretch for balls because it's the pants. So honest to God, but that was just the mentality.
It's mad, isn't it? How you talk about that, Conor. We spoke about in previous episodes, like those little things that you learn that are quite a harsh lesson, and being sat in a change room getting changed, and managers coming up to, "Oh, you're playing today then?" And well, you seem to have got your kit on, and you're like, obviously you shit yourself a little bit, then you go, "Oh no, you'll be sat in the stands, mate." So isn't it funny how they're really harsh at the time, but you've never worn trousers since that day?
And it sticks with you for life. Even like the little thing that you just said that there, even when like a manager's not named his squad, like we've all been there, and then you're not going to be willing to get changed just in case you're not in the squad, because then you feel a bit wrecked, don't you? Putting your kit, putting your suit or your tracky
Even
back
if
on.
you've had to score that trick the week before.
Do you know what I mean? You still don't put your kit on because you look like a bit of a tit in front of all the other lads as well.
My problem is it was Noel Blake and he can't fit through a door.
Oh, maybe Noel Blake.
So Blake, he's obviously did it to
massive.
me. And obviously he's gone. He had a lovely nickname for me, Coconut Head. So he's like, "Coconut Head, what are you doing? What are you doing, lad?" And I'd be like, what do you mean, Blakey?
Whatever you want.
Don't talk to me, lad. Don't talk to me. You better get changed. You get yourself in the stands, lad. Get yourself in the stands.
We spoke.
And I'm obviously Coconut Head, I've told you once, get yourself out of here now. And I'm like, what? And I'm sat in the stands, the game's going, and I'm thinking, what have I done wrong? Got your shorts on, you muppet. You got changed.
Oh, yeah. It's so old school, though, isn't it? It's so old school when we think about it.
But brilliant standards, and similar to what, like you say, Steven Gerrard will stick it on you in training. Similar sort of thing.
I think it's funny what you said about Bellamy, didn't you? Because like I said to you, I've never met him, but I think I'm thinking I can't stand him. Like I said to you, I can't stand him, and you're like, well, I see where you're coming from, but his standards were so high that actually drove everybody up. So you can see as a manager, you put up with the fact he's going to fall out with people, but he's driving those standards. You know what you're saying about, it's funny that Rudy documentary, because like you say, when you're young lads, like when we were all young lads, same for me, you would be in awe, wouldn't you, of like them? But like, remember Rooney said, he come on the pitch and he was 17, he's like, "I'm the best player."
Yeah.
You know, I think that mentality, when you're 17, I was thinking, when I was 17, you just thinking, just get by, or you're thinking, don't let Gerrard carrying it down, or like Rooney's like, "I'm the best player. I'm gonna show everybody."
He said then he walked in at 16 for his first proper pre-season. He said he knew on the first day he was the best player there.
Imagine.
And you just think, I'm just trying to. I remember, like, as we talked about Peter Reid, I was just keeping my head down, and Peter Reid was like, "Hey, you with the curly hair," and I'm like, "Oh no, don't even look at it. Don't even look."
It's so definitive, isn't it? It's so like, I am the best player. So definitive. I just wasn't.
Was Gerrard the same?
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, I can't speak for before that, but what he was. Just the aura. Do you know the aura he had around him? He had such an aura around him in the training ground where like you kind of walk past him and you kind of had to wait for him to say it. Like I say hello to everyone, do you know what I mean? But you had to wait for him to say hello. And like, morning. Morning. Try and get as many mornings in it. Do you know what I mean?
Might be at Steve.
Honest to God,
He's a big lad as well, isn't he, Gerrard?
Yeah, like when he's like
imposing, isn't he?
He's a lump,
Like to tackle, mate. Honest to God, when I said before, he would literally fly through you in training. If you were in his way and you were stopping him scoring or you were stopping and getting around it, he would literally, and like I said, it would be like, he wouldn't like then leave you there and it's up to you, sort yourself out. If you want to train, you train.
He had some naughty tackles when he was younger, didn't he?
Yeah.
He was.
Oh, yeah.
The old scissors.
Yeah.
Remember the scissors tackles?
He loved that one, didn't he?
What a player, though. What a player. What about then? So, from Huddersfield, before you signed for Wolves, you actually scored at Molineux, didn't you?
Oh, what a goal that was, Edo.
Mate.
Did you play that game?
Mate, I think I was either on the bench or I'd come off because it was in the second half, wasn't it?
Yeah, second half.
I must have.
But mate, you guys have to YouTube this goal because it was an absolute joke, mate. You surely haven't hit any like that in your career before, mate.
Never in my life, never. And do you know what? I don't know why I shot. I'll be honest with you, I was so far out, and I watched it back, and I was so far out, honestly. And you know, it's one of them, Edo, when I've not hit many in my life, in my career, do you know what I mean? But you know when it leaves your foot and you know it's got half a chance, this. Yeah. And that was what it was like. And you know, when I signed for Wolves, I used to give Keems a little bit. Keems a big fella, didn't he? Yeah. Who says, Keems, why are you waving at me? Give Keems a little bit on the face. Yeah, honestly. But and I celebrate with the bench, you know. Oh, it's amazing.
Last time he scored a Molineux, that was.
I sat down to the other day, mate. That was down to, but loved it. Absolutely loved it, mate. It was brilliant. Brilliant.
So how did the Wolves move come about then?
So again, it was something where, like I said, I thought I was going to sign the year before. I really did. It was something where I spoke to Kenny quite a lot. I met with Stu, and I thought it was going to happen the year before. And then the exact same happened the following year. And it was kind of, it happens quite quickly, if I'm being honest with you, mate. I was meant to be going back in for pre-season with Huddersfield, and I just got a phone call just saying, down the M6 and get yourself to Wolves, because Huddersfield have accepted a bid, and they're going to let you go and sign
in the
Wolves.
Championship.
This is in the Championship, mate, yeah. And do you know what, mate? Wolves, you just finished just outside the playoffs, I think, on goal difference, mate. And it was so exciting. And it obviously turned out to be a little bit different when I first got there, because it was tough, if I'm being honest with you, mate. But it was so exciting to go there, knowing Wolves were there and thereabouts last season, and it might be with half a chance here. And I'm playing well. I've enjoyed my season. I've done well with Huddersfield, and it'll be brilliant for me. But obviously things happened a little bit different. But what a move, mate! Yeah, it was incredible.
What was Conor like? What was Conor like?
Finish that is.
What's up there? Who scored?
Coady.
What a goal! Show me that.
Oh, that's unreal. That.
No, I'm not.
Hold up. Sorry, what have I done?
Hey,
Yeah, let's have a look at this.
We'll have to
Sorry,
edit
for
this
the
out.
benefit of the listeners, we're just having a look at Conor's goal. Yeah. Look at
you'll
that.
be shocked. Yeah, you'll be shocked.
Tony Coady on
Look
there.
at that. Soccer Saturday. I was probably in Barmedia watching this. That's a great strike, isn't it?
that
Who's
lovely.
the keeper having a go at? Keepers again.
He's having a proper Kev Mack
jumped
there.
up and had a
Kev.
go,
He's having a
someone.
Get
Go and
close
have
to
a
the
go.
ball. Get close
Keeves
to the
proper
ball.
went for it as well, didn't he? As
Yeah,
well?
proper.
He
mate.
proper went for
Proper,
it.
mate.
Is it one of the? Were you losing 3-0 there?
No, we won 3-1.
Oh, you won 4-1.
I think that,
Won
no,
4-1.
we won 3-1. That's the second goal, lad, I think. I think that made it 2-0. Yeah, we won 3-1. Do you know what? Well, you could have gone top of the league that game. I'll always remember that game just because I scored. Yeah, you could have gone top of the league.
I thought it was going to be one of them. We lost 4-1, but have you seen my goal?
Do you know? Do you know who else scored? Holty.
Did he?
Grant Holt scored that game for Huddersfield. Yeah, played with Holty, and obviously he
Brilliant.
come to Wolves. But yeah,
Finish, mate. Sorry.
Go on, Dave. What was Conor like day one?
Day
Can't
one,
imagine.
so-
Day one, you normally come in a bit sheepish, a bit quiet, and all.
We
that.
kind of heard like the couple of days before that it might be happening and things like that. And as your insecure self, you're thinking another midfielder.
I'm hanging on by my fingertips.
hang on. You were Wolves' golden child. You were never getting dropped.
He's been modest there. He's too nice, Dave.
Is he a utility? Does he play anywhere else? Can he play right back
He
as well?
won't get in the box like I get.
No,
in the box, mate.
no. He's a midfielder, Dave. So he can't play fullback or
He's
anything.
not.
He's midfielder.
He's not a poor man's Frank Lampard like I am.
And my first thought was, I remember his goal against us as well.
He's a goal scoring midfielder.
Oh no.
That's Dave all over as
How
well.
wrong was he? How wrong was he?
But no, not to make codes blush, but anyone you'll speak to who knows Conor is, when you first come in, within 15 minutes, that's kind of all gone. Do you know what I mean? The way you are, he's like, probably a little bit too loud at times, yeah. But Mr. Positive
Never be too loud.
comes in, and yeah, you fitted in real quickly, didn't you? We had a good group of lads then, didn't
Great
we?
group of lads, mate. I loved it. I loved it, honestly, since the first day. I remember my first day, and remember when we was up at the top, we was up at the academy,
Yeah,
because I think
that's
the
right,
bottom was getting, and all the lads were in the gym, and there's like big windows in the gym. You know when you first go and you're doing your medical and like getting shown round, and I didn't know the lads were in the gym, you know when you just feel everyone go, and just turn around and look at you, I was like, oh, Jesus. But it was nerve-wracking, mate, honestly, because I was going to a much bigger club, if I'm being honest with you, a much bigger club with...
That's it.
Yeah, with the team who just missed out on the playoffs. Do you know what I mean? They were pushing to get into the Premier League. They were pushing to be in the Championship playoffs. So it was nerve-wracking, mate. And plus, I'd seen these lads play in the Premier League. I'd all played in the Premier League, and I was thinking, oh, this is unbelievable. This, but we had such a good group of lads who made me fit in really well. Edo, Danny Bath, Keems, Kev. I knew Pricey as well. Do you know what I mean? So we had a real good group of lads, and it was so easy to settle in. Yeah.
The expectation, though, wasn't it? Of, like, obviously, Liverpool's a huge club, but you would have never really experienced the expectation because you weren't that close into the first team. But coming to Wolves as one of their main signings, massive club.
It was huge, and
it's pressure, isn't it?
I think people were waiting for things, mate. Obviously, I think the memory they had of me was scoring that goal at Molineux, and I think they were expecting that all the time. But
A big price tag, Con.
A couple of mil. I think it was a couple of mil, something like that. But for
Wolves at the time, we weren't splashing cash.
And for a Championship sign, it was really. Do you know what I mean? So it was kind of, like I said, it was nerve-wracking going in there because they had such a good season the year before. It was kind of, I need to come in and we need to kind of get in the playoffs. We need to kind of do something right. Do you know what I mean? And it never turned out to be like that. But the club itself was incredible. But like Edo said, that expectation of, because we finished where we did the year before and then we had to go again and it never really materialised.
Strange, because we had a real good start, didn't we?
Yeah, remember Jan Balder against Blackburn? Remember that? I was raging.
I seen that's the goal, isn't it?
Is this what we got done in the Maradona thing?
Yeah.
So was this on your debut?
So this is my debut against Blackburn, right? And like I said, it was brilliant because I fit in really. I really loved my first few weeks, and I knew this fella. I got quite close to this fella, and he scored against Blackburn. It was just a Dave Edwards goal. Do you know what I mean? In the box late, and I thought it was a great header.
Quality,
but he'd used his arm right, and we're celebrating, and he didn't celebrate properly. You know, and like we celebrate when you score first goal in the champ. And as we're all like in a bit of a huddle, he's going, "I'm Baldy." I've handballed it.
Oh, he's so nice.
And we're all going, shut up, mate. Jesus, 1-0 up. Honestly, I handballed.
Dave's like, ref, I think I'm like, shut up.
I think he would have told the ref.
Nicest human being on the planet.
Honestly, I did feel like it. When I made you and Bennick were in my face saying, shut up, keep your arms down. Because Bennick had seen I'd done it. But
So, Con, you're saying to Dave, like, shut up.
Don't
Like,
pack it in. Let's go 1-0 up and come on, we need to win the game.
Remember Gary
Do you know what I mean?
Bowyer was Blackburn manager. He went mad at me at half time.
did he?
Thought you were better than that, Edwards. You're cheating.
Did
He was going at me. I played against him a couple of seasons ago when he was Bradford manager. We had a bit of a giggle about it, but he's never forgotten it.
I thought you were better than that, Edwards. Guess what, Gary? I'm not.
But we went on to win. It was a good game, that. I
I was playing left wing. Do you remember I played left wing?
Yeah,
first
you
few games
did.
of the
We were
season?
4-4-2, weren't
Very
we?
narrow. Very narrow.
Narrows in centre circle.
Dave, you're not playing in the 4. Play out wide, left, mate, left.
We were 4-4-2, weren't we?
Yeah.
4-4-2. No, it was good, mate. It was good. Really good. Good start to the
Love
season,
that.
actually, yeah. Real good start to the season. And then it was mad, though, because my wife was pregnant, so Amy didn't move to Wolves with me at first. And then we played, remember playing one of the cup games after it? Played one of the cup games. Edo wouldn't have played in that. He never got played in them games. Mate, he was on the physio, bed, legs up, rubs, the whole lot, mate.
You just look at him, he's just wrapped in cotton wool on the side there. Like,
Get young, who's playing? Get young Coady out there. He'll play. I'll sit out. You know what I mean? But he was one of them. But we played him. And my wife gave birth the day before, so it was good memories for me coming as soon as we come to Wolves. Do you know what I mean? So it was it was a good start for us.
Did Amy ever move up?
Yeah.
Or down to Wolverhampton?
Yeah. So obviously we're going to go on to Lonners and Willow, aren't we? But when the house that I had with Lonners and Willow, I lived in with Amy for the first year. But it was daft, mate. Really. It was big. Kenny was big on it. When I first signed, Kenny was like, "You have to move. You have to move." I weren't planning on moving. I'll be honest with you, just because I could travel and my wife could be around family and
what's
friends.
the commute, Con?
About an hour and 20.
Oh, okay.
Hour and a half, hour and 20. So I was always going to travel, but when I signed, Kenny was like, you have to move. And I'm going like, do I? And he's like, yeah, you have to move. You have to move. So I'm like, okay, sound. So I said to him, and it worked quite well really, because we just had a little baby. We just had our Henry, and we got a chance to be parents on our own, do you know what I mean, without people around us, which was good. But he was big. So we stayed for a year, and then when Kenny left, as soon as Kenny left, I said, right, you can move back home now. And she moved back home, and then I offered Lonners and Willow to stay in the house. We just kept
So
the
he
house
came
there.
in after. So how long was Kenny there for then?
Kenny was there when I was there, so we started the next pre-season, but Folsom just took over, and we got wind as players that Kenny was going to go. Do you know what I mean? We got wind, and then I remember getting on the train. One morning, and it pops up on Sky Sports. Kenny Jackett's being sacked, and Walter Zenger's coming. So Walter Zenger then come in the year after.
Do you remember? I think I've told you. Have I said it in the podcast? I might
Yeah,
have told
you
you
did.
boys.
No, you have.
Do you remember when he first came in pre-season, the very first game? He watched the first half from
Swansea.
and
Swansea.
then he came in at half time.
Yeah.
Talked to him how he was dressed, mate.
Yeah, honest to God, like proper. I can't say, but do you not remember him coming in?
He had the white linen shirt on, rosemary beads, tattoos all up his arm, mates, crop trousers which were like halfway between his knee and his ankle.
But he lived in Dubai, didn't he?
Yeah.
So I think every international break, and every time he got like a few days off, he'd fly back to Dubai, and that was.
Bit different to Kenny
Mate,
Jackett.
do you know, honest to God, it was night and day, wasn't it? It was night and
He was
day.
a lovely guy, though.
Oh,
mate.
lovely, lovely fella. Even now, like we seen him, you know, in Europa League, we played Torino in the qualifying round, and he was in the hotel, so you know it was a bit awkward. Like you see him at fair, and you're like, sure, that's Walter Zenger. Do you know what I mean? He comes over, gives you a big hug, lovely fella, lovely
Hugs
fella.
everyone, doesn't he?
Yeah, everyone. But we played that pre-season game you're on about. We played Swansea. He must have watched the first half. I remember him coming down. I remember this. I must have a better memory than you, because I remember him coming down. And I don't know if we were 1-0 down or something at half time. And he said, listen, you need to think about the game more. We need to think. So don't go chasing everywhere. Don't go pressing. I want you to play like this. Sit in and wait for the times to press and all this. So we're all like, yeah, all right, bang, 4-0.
Yeah.
And you go,
Yeah.
and that works well.
Not sure how this is going to turn out.
And at the time, I know it's changed a lot now with how more methodical you boys are, but at the time, the fans at Molineux, they would not be happy, because we kind of had it with Stoller Solbakken before you came, where we tried to sit off teams and then try and counter-attack. Molineux crowd does not like that. If you're not just like into every tackle, flying all over people, I think they've become a bit more accepting of it now, haven't they, because of how well you guys are doing. But at that time, straight away I was thinking, this isn't going to work, this.
Yeah. And do you remember that I'm good mates with Matt Dox, I'm good mates with Doc, do you know what I mean? And when obviously Walter Zenger got left, we played Leeds. It's a great story. You know what Doc's like, do you know what I mean?
I remember this game.
You know what Doc's like, don't you? And Doc obviously lost the ball playing left back. And Doc's, for some unknown reason, the ball's going out in our own corner flag, and Doc's trying to shield the ball. This is what Doc was like, they end up nicking the ball, and they end up scoring from Doc's mistake. So after the game, Walter Zenga must have got wind that he was going to go or whatever, and he was walking around the changing room, shaking everyone's hand, thanks lads, and he just shook Doc's head and he went, thanks for that, mate. Thanks for getting me this.
Thanks for getting me this.
And Doc was like, just looking at him thinking like, oh God. Just didn't, you know what Doc was like,
Class,
do you know what I mean?
Oh, he would have thought about that so much.
Oh, forever and ever, mate. We still speak about it now, me and Doc. Then when Walter Zenga shook me head and that, said that was what it was like, yeah.
Oh, I love that.
What was Dave like?
Amazing,
Give us
mate.
a little bit about Dave.
Amazing, mate. Amazing, and I'm going to blow smoke up his ass, mate. Do you know what I mean? Love him to bits.
Definitely recording, Wits.
Just
This is definitely on, Wits.
Honestly, mate.
This video, this Wits.
Testing.
Honestly, mate, and this is no word of a lie. He's one of the best players, one of the best professionals I've played with. I've shared a pitch with, I've shared a dressing room with, just to learn off him. And I'm not just saying it now because you're here, mate, but I'd say it to anybody, just to learn off the sort of character he was. To have Edo there when I first went there was so good for my own development, because I went there as a young lad. Do you know what I mean? And it was kind of, I'm still learning my trade, I'm still learning how to play football. And then I go to a massive club like Wolves, where he's been there for so long, he knows everything about the club, he knows what the supporters want, he knows what the gaffer wants, he knows how to look after himself. And that was so important for me going there, and I still take that to this very day now, considering how long I've been at Wolves. I take so much of what he'd done at the football club with me, honestly, mate. I really do. I mean that, mate, honestly.
Love that.
Dave. When we played with Dave, but he was a young boy when we went. Weren't you? So he was very different then.
Bleach blonde hair.
Yeah, bleach blonde hair.
I've seen pictures.
Gorgeous he was.
Gorgeous. Yeah, we used to get him in the shower, didn't we? Like rubbing him in the shower.
I used to go up to him. I used to put shower gel on him. I used to rub him and go, "Oh, Dave,
Did you?
Dave, feel you." And then I used to call you, didn't I? Late at night, if I've had a few bevies, I used to leave answer machines on his phone. Go, Dave, Dave, are you there? Dave, where are you? And he'd come in and he'd go, "Oh, mate, leave me alone, will you? Leave me alone." Well, I'm only playing with you. Oh, leave me alone. I don't need you today.
Yeah. What a fella, mate.
No, amazing. No, I think it's a running theme, like you say. It's
attitude, mentality.
Attitude, application, the mentality. Top
Huge,
professionals have it, don't they? And he's, like you say, but you've also got to be a brilliant human being, haven't you? And
Without a doubt, mate.
Definitely
One of the best, mate, yeah. One of the best.
Living arrangements then. Wolves. So Amy moved out.
he hates it.
Amy moved out, yeah. So it kind of got a bit funny at this point, yeah. So it was kind of Kenny left, and we come back for pre-season. I said to Amy, listen, just stay at home. There's no point. I'll be the one who travels and be with family, be around mum and dad. I'll get home most days, do you know what I mean? So it was great, it worked great. And then also I still had the house. So we signed Lonners, we signed Mike Williamson, make a few signings, and English lads, do you know what I mean? So English lads coming in, it was kind of like... So I knew Lonners was from Preston, lived in Preston. I knew he'd need a place to stay or stay in the hotel. So I just said to him, listen, jump in the gaff. No problem, got a big gaff there, so jump in, it's no problem, it's fine. So he was like, you sure? This was like literally, I think he's told the story, it's about 10, 15 minutes of knowing him. So it was like, yeah, anytime you need to stay somewhere, just jump in, it's no worries. Mike Williamson was the same. So I just said to him...
Did he come from Newcastle, Mike Williamson?
Willow would have come from... Where did he come from, Newcastle?
It was New.
Was it? Yeah, no, because I think he come on loan first, didn't he?
He went after that, didn't he, to Newcastle?
No, it was Newcastle before.
Newcastle, I think he come on loan at first, and then we signed him on a permanent.
He's from Windsor, though, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So he's from down south.
Yeah, but remember when he signed on loan, he was brilliant for us.
Oh, he's class.
He was great. And then we
just what we
signed
needed,
him.
wasn't he?
Just what we needed. And we signed him, and he just injured every game. Honest to God, injured every game.
He's the gaffer now at Gateshead, isn't he?
Gateshead, yeah.
Absolutely flying. So
Yeah.
obviously, I played against him. I was managers against him, so our teams went up against each other. And met him in the middle of the pitch, and like, I don't know if he'll say the same about me, but we just had a conversation. Like, normally you see the gaffers like, hello mate, how are you? They got you a coffee and everything. Is there anything that you need? Let us know. And we just spent half an hour on the pitch just chatting. What a guy he is.
Great
honestly, it's probably the most intense 30 minutes, but brilliant I've had.
He's intense.
Amazing guy.
He's intense.
Liked him straight away. Knew that he would be successful straight away. I think if you said to him Gavin Cowan now, he'd probably go who. But from my perspective, I had half an hour with him there, and what a brilliant guy. It's no fluke to see him now doing well, because he's class.
This is why your relationship with Lonners and Mike was so like interesting to the rest of the lads, because you was only young codes, weren't you?
Yeah.
Whereas I had some real good chats with Mike. I thought he was like really intelligent, wasn't he? He would go quite deep psychologically and all this stuff, But then you got you on the right. You was this kid, mate, and I just thought, and then you put Lonners into the mix as well. It was just like this brash northerner. I was like, this can't be
proper
good.
odd mix then.
Yeah.
So go on, what were the dynamics there with you three?
It was brilliant. Do you know what? He looked after me a little bit, Willow. He's a great fella. Real good fella. But like little things like, there used to be a shop at the top of our road, and me and Lonners would walk around the shop, get a big bag of sweets and all this, would go home, and literally Willow was more professional than Edo. Like I think he went the other end of the spectrum, Willow, like a little bit too much. Like the amount of, honest to God, I obviously invited, he'd stay in the house like every night of the week, because he'd obviously live in Windsor, he had family in Newcastle, or whatever it may be. So he'd stay there all the time. And the days I'd go there, there'd be bands all over the house, there'd be things all over the house. And me and Lonners would come in with a big bag of squashies. And literally throw a bag of squashies in for Monday night footy. And honestly, there'd be 2 couches in the house, and them 2 would kick me off the couch. I'd be sat on the floor with my bag of squashies. He'd be eating a bowl of kale and all this. And, mate, this is nowhere alive. We're having conversations, and me and Lonners are like trying to have a bit of a laugh. And this was what it was like. I remember this one day, we got a knock on the door. And me and Lonners are sat there watching the footy. Next minute, this fella comes in with a massage bed. So a bit normal, do you know what I mean? Get a massage and that. Plonks himself in the living room. Bang slap in front of the telly. Lonners gets Willow gets on this bed getting a rub. Me and Lonners are sat there like that. I'm trying to look at the telly. Through Mike Williamson looking at each other. We went, Willow, what are you doing? Oh, I'm just getting a rub, lads. My hamstrings rubbing. But this was what he was like. So middle of the night, he would get up every morning and go to the pool. So honestly, one of the most professional men I've ever seen in my life. And he would get up before training and go. But I'm talking like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm talking here like early doors. But he used to love a NutriBullet, you know, NutriBullet. Yeah. Mate, love the NutriBullet, right? So I'm talking like 4 5, he wouldn't care who else is in the house, mate.
4 in the morning.
Mate, I swear the NutriBullet would be on. me and Lonners would be waking up going, what the fuck hell's that noise? Next minute, he's downstairs, bzzz, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, mate, getting ready to go to the pool. But one of the most professional, nicest men I've ever seen in my life, mate, honestly. Yeah. Fantastic, brilliant.
Lonners told me the first time you put the NutriBullet on, you woke up early or a little bit later and you thought you'd been abducted because you heard all this noise going on.
All this, mate, because then you wake up all groggy. You know, you wake up, you're all groggy. You're like, what's going on there? Do you know what I mean? And he's got the NutriBullet on. Lonners, he sat on the couch like this. I guess, just all kinds going on in the house, mate. It was the maddest dynamic you can ever imagine in your life, but he'd take, like I said, million bands home, all the stuff from training, and be in the house, just everywhere in the house, do you know what I mean? Just, what a fella, though. What a great fella.
So Dave's touched base with Lonners prior to this podcast. He's fed us a few bits and pieces. But he said a couple of things he said is, you're just absolute childlike love for football.
Yeah.
And just how you sit in front of the telly with your legs crossed. And I think there was a story he was saying is like the most dour game on the planet.
Yeah.
And half-time whistle went and you just turned around to them both and went, what a game that was. What a game.
West Brom nil, Burnley nil.
Yeah.
And they were just like, God, that was the worst game we've ever seen. But you've got this such love and enthusiasm for football. So it's just really refreshing to hear. Cause
he said you would start your pre-match routine on a Monday night about 6:45, getting all your sweets ready for when 7 o'clock starts and Gary Neville comes on the telly. He said you're just glued.
Yeah, just watch the footy, mate. Yeah, just listen to them. I just enjoy listening to them, to be honest. It's all about different teams, but we had a right laugh in that house, mate, honestly. A right laugh, because we go through that much. We used to eat crap, mate. Crap. We were professional footballers, mate. And we'd come in and his body fat was through the roof, Lonners. I swear, mate.
Like his body listen to this, Con. Listen to this. He said you were no banter at all. He said he said you had nothing because you're always on your phone to your missus, Amy. So he said you're never off the phone to her. Apparently you're always on your phone. Is that right?
Yeah, FaceTime. I'm bad for FaceTime, mate. Yeah. I was on FaceTime when I was coming here. I'm bad for FaceTime, honestly. Like, just in terms of just to chat to someone. I hate like being in the car and it being quiet. If I'm in the car and it's quiet, like if no one I'm travelling, I'll make about 50 phone calls.
He said that's what he said when he went when on the way to training. Conor would like ring his mum. I'm on my way to training. Ring his missus. I'm on my way to training. I'll ring you later. Then ring his dad. I'm just on my way to training. I'll ring you later. Then he'd ring his uncle. Then his dad. Then after training, ring his mum back up. I'm on my way back from training.
Did he ever tell you about the golf he bought? Has he not told you this?
Yeah.
I remember this, mate.
Do you remember the golf?
I remember this, mate.
Oh, right. So he said to me this one day, I'm going to buy a golf.
Just clock up the miles on his car.
Yeah, so he's racking up the miles. Like, because it's quite far. I think he had an Audi or something. I can't remember what he had, but it's obviously quite fast pressing. It's over 100 miles. And I used to say to him, you come and pick me up on that. And he'd say, yeah. So he'd say, like, where'd you live? So I said, I'm just off the 62. Just off the 62. M62 is there, mate. He's on the M62 for about half an hour. I swear. So we said, honest to God, I'm going to buy a golf. So I was like thinking, that's going to be like one of them GTD ones, like a nice diesel one. But nobody's, all right, mate. Yeah, nobody's. We'll keep doing the lifts and that. Mate, he turned up this one day to pick me up. This golf, mate, I'm sure it was like a 02 something. Honest to God, it was horrendous. And it made this noise, right, like a police car. So when he was driving, there must have been something wrong with the engine of it. And it'd go like, no, you're driving this golf. Honest to God, like fabric seats. I don't mean to sound bad, but it was just so old.
Old school, yeah.
It was, mate, honest to God, it was horrific. And he bought this golf, and we were going into training. All the seats were ripped and that, do you know what I mean? Yeah. And he's going into training in this golf, mate. Me and him rocking up to training this golf. It was horrendous.
You used to hear it coming down the drive, mate.
It was like a police car, mate, honestly. It was
you were saying, Dave, you had to stop at every services to put water in it or something?
Yeah, because it overheats.
He's buying bottles of Buxton at every service.
For all the money he saved in petrol on a car, he had to spend the water at the services.
I swear, mate, it was brilliant. Honestly, when he rocked up in his car, it was fantastic.
I always remember we come out whenever you had the car. It was probably 15, 20 degrees outside. It is. They come and look at this, Edo, and the temperature inside would always say like -40 or something.
Honestly, mate, the car was knackered. I couldn't believe. And then I'm sure he took it to We Buy Any Car and he offered about 200 quid for it or something. Honest to God, it was brilliant. What a fella.
We'll have to get him on, Dave.
Yeah, he's
Get Lons on. Lons will have stories for days, mate, as well.
He's a great laugh, isn't he?
He's brilliant, mate. Brilliant. Even now, mate, I speak to him most days.
Yeah.
Honest to God, he's one of the best fellas I've come across in football. Honestly, even now, like the way he looks after himself now is, I think, different level to when he was eating squashies with me, mate. I think he's looking after himself a lot more now. Yeah.
I've experienced him on his phone as well. It's nightmare, like, all the away trips. Sometimes, like, we'd always kind of sit around the same table, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll sit next to him. If you sat next to him, it's only when you had Henry's your eldest, isn't he?
Henry's
so
my
Henry
oldest,
can only be maybe 2-3 weeks old. He's FaceTiming him.
Look at you.
There's this baby on the screen just like
staring at
Not even looking at me. Yeah, I was bad for it. Yeah,
good messages though. Good messages because you took, like, for any kid, you know, obviously for my boys, telling them all the time, like, be dedicated to it if you really want to do it, and like, obviously just totally insane to football, family man. Yeah,
that's all I've ever had, mate. And I've said it plenty of times, and the amount of gratitude I owe to mainly Wolves, do you know what I mean, for obviously bringing me to the football club and being there for so long. I've got so much to owe to it, so I'll always give all my life to it. My family know that, and listen, my family are the most important thing in the world, but I'll always give my life to football and to Wolves as long as I can, yeah.
Amazing to hear, mate.
Yeah.
So when, obviously, Paul Lambert came in after, what was Zenga, didn't he?
Yeah, Walter Zenga, yeah.
I really like Paul.
I really liked him.
But you obviously had to play out of position a little bit then, didn't you?
I still really liked him, mate.
Yeah.
I liked what he was about. I liked what he was like as a person. I liked what he was like as a manager. He knew how to, I think you'll say this as well, I think he knew how to have a conversation with as well as you need to be on it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, I've obviously played under managers since who, tactic-wise, are fantastic. He wasn't. We only had like a certain way of doing things, didn't we? It was kind of find Edo in the channel. If you can't find that, you're in trouble. that was kind of how we played. But I really got on with him, even though I played right back. I really got on with him. Yeah, but played right back, mate. Slowest right back ever.
Yeah. He used to join his training all the time as well, didn't he?
Remember the boxes, mate? He used to join the boxes. Yeah, he was top, wasn't he?
Yeah,
he was.
He
top.
gave the ball away. Whoever gave it to him would have to go in for him, wouldn't they?
He loved you. Remember the pink shirt on a Friday as well?
Oh yeah, forgot
remember
about
the pink
that,
shirt.
yeah.
Worst player had to wear a pink shirt the following Friday.
Brilliant.
So lads would vote obviously for the worst player, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
But if everyone was trying to score, if you scored, you got away with it. If you never scored, you'd have to wear the pink shirt. Yeah,
but he would always be on. Like I was always on the old team, so he was old v young, and he was always on our team. And you had to carry me. He'd stand miles out on the left wing, mate. And every time he got it, he'd just like spin it round the corner. So we were playing a man dying all the time. Then whoever lost, then everyone has a vote on it. Yeah. And he would come round taking the vote. Yeah. You say your name's like, oh.
Yeah, it'd make you feel horrendous.
Him again? Yeah. Him again, is it?
And he used to tell people all the time about he won the Champions League, didn't he? Remember he used to walk past people, he said, I've won the Champions League. And then literally serious as all the time, honestly. But I really liked him, mate.
Right. It's fine, really everyone, money. Anything. He would just walk in the dressing room, see and say, 50 quid. Yeah.
And then he'd do that one as well. So he'd go, 50 quid, but if you don't tell me about it, you've done 50 quid as well. Yeah. So you need to tell me, I'll find him. Just to remind him.
Great environment.
Brilliant, mate, yeah.
So Nuno came in.
Yeah.
And Nuno loved you straight away, didn't he?
Yeah, I got on really well with him. Really well with him.
Somebody said, Conor, it was something about a plane journey or something from Austria or something, and that's when you and him clicked for the first time.
There's you dropping stories.
All I can say is that
all the lads were the back of the plane.
There's you dropping stories.
No. So Coates had played right back the year before, and then
like not out of position, not
somehow he's got his boarding pass at the airport to go to Austria. He sat next to Nuno, spends 2 hours next to Nuno on the flight.
Got off the plane with the captain on.
Playing a sweeper.
Hey, come on, whatever you got to do, mate. Whatever you got to do is dog out there.
You know what? That's about right.
It's a dog out there.
Honestly, we're on the plane coming back from Austria. And you know when you sat in your seat, I was in the middle seat, right? And you know as he's walking down, honest to God, though, this is nowhere to lie. And I'm like that, I look next to him, I think there's an empty seat there, and he's walking towards me. And you know when you're dreading it, dreading him taking a right. I'm dreading it, mate. I'm looking down, and I don't know who sat next to me. I'm thinking, please don't sit next to me here, because I'm going to get battered by the boys here. Of course you are. Battered. Next minute he goes, seat 32A, or whatever it is. I went, oh, yeah. No, and do you know what? The conversation that I had with him, I know the lads might have been battering me or whatever, but it was top, you know.
I remember you telling us.
Honest to God, it was top, you know. Like, the way he spoke about the club, the way he spoke about he'd watched every game, and I'm thinking, this fella's been working in the Champions League last year and he's watching Wolves, who were 15th in the champ. And it was kind of like he'd done so much homework on every single player. And then he finished the conversation by going, this is my club now. I was kind of like,
you saying that to me?
Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Do you know what I mean? Is that good for me or is it bad for me or that kind of thing? And the conversation was brilliant. Honestly, really, really good. It opened my eyes to how he wanted to work and how he wanted to do things and that he would never change his way of doing things. And the conversation was top draw, yeah.
Lads are like, what did the gaffer say? And you're like, I wasn't listening.
Yeah. You have to say that.
Wasn't listening.
Yeah.
Nothing. Didn't say anything, really.
But from me dreading the conversation to actually getting off the plane,
amazing.
thinking that was.
I bet it was great 2 hours.
That was bang on that. And even speaking about like the players who were coming in, do you know what I mean? From all kinds of what he wanted to do with the football club, it got me so excited. Do you know what I mean? Even just to the extent of just listening to it, it was brilliant, mate. Yeah,
I remember you speaking to me after that playing journey, and you kind of explained some of that to me. It's almost like, wow, Fosun are not just putting their money where their mouth is, but we have got a right chance now.
100%.
Right chance. Whereas the last few years have been a bit of a carnival sort of atmosphere, hadn't it? It was kind of bringing in different managers. Seemed to be bringing players in from anywhere.
It was hit and miss, weren't it? It was kind of just like, let's just get him in and let's hope and let's see what happens. But I even think, even if they hadn't got the players that they got that summer, I still think we'd have had half a chance because of his conversation. Honestly, mate, because of how he wanted to set us up and how he wanted to play. Getting the players we did, Rubens and Jota coming in and all that was madness, mate, weren't it? But just with his conversation, I even think without that, I think with the way he wanted to play, I think we'd have had half a chance, mate, because he was that good,
Had such an impression on you in that short space of time.
Yeah, and he was brilliant, mate. Even being in Austria, I think we got a vibe, didn't we? We understood what he wanted to do and how he wanted to play, and I think all of us got that vibe as well.
Very methodical, wasn't it?
Yeah,
he had a sense of belief that you were going to do something.
Yeah, and he was so nothing was ever going to change, was it? It was kind of his way, and this is how we're doing things, and it's 3 at the back, it's 4 across the middle, it's 3 up top, and this is how we're going to play. We're going to play with width, we're going to attack, we're going to defend, we're going to counter. And we stuck to that, mate. We never went away from that. And I thought that was one of the biggest things he'd done, really.
So on that then, obviously, gone to a 3 at the back suited you?
Oh, massively.
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved it.
Obviously, but
I
your initial
loved it.
thoughts on it.
And I also remember him first coming in, the first couple of trains. I remember when we were training on it was kind of the 23s pitch, weren't it, over the far side. And I remember when he first come in, he kind of put me there, and it was kind of like, he put me there just to make up the numbers, because I've gone from being right back to midfield to right back, and I'm just there to make up the numbers. And then I actually thought to myself one day, I come home and had a conversation with my dad, and I spoke to my dad, and I said to my dad, I'm in centre half in the middle of back 3, and I can't see that. Do you know one of them? And he went, listen, he said, if he's going to have you there, do what you can, do the best you can, be the best player you can be, as much as you can, and give the best version of yourself. So I was like, brilliant. Yeah, you bang on. So I tried my best every single day, so I was there more and more, and he's put me there more and more. And it weren't really a conversation. Loads of people say to me, did he pull you in? Did he sit you down? And it wasn't really that. And then we played Werder Bremen, didn't we? First game pre-season.
Austria, was it?
Yeah, in Austria. And I played there, and I played 90, and it was kind of like from there, we just carried on. It was good.
Did you play well, or did you feel like you had to sort of find your way there?
I loved it. I felt...
It's a great position. It's centre of a 3.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant because I like to speak on the pitch, and because I like to organise a little bit, and I try and help people so they can help me. It just suited me, mate. It just suited me a little bit. And the game itself, I always remember the game. It was on like a dead narrow pitch. That helped me, so I didn't have to run too much, and I learned it a little bit quicker. Do you know what I mean? But I loved it, mate. Honestly, really enjoyed it.
Loved it.
My impressions of when you first went back, I think there's probably 2 key things which I would have seen and Nuno would have seen as well. That first was the organisation, because you can see the whole pitch and you're naturally very vocal, so you can organise what's in front of you, which is only going to help. But then also your ability at switching the ball. Obviously, back they used to do it so much. Yeah. Coming in off the left-hand side in particular, getting off the left centre half, and then taking one touch and hitting like a low-flighted ball to Doc. It used to get us out so quickly. The change of from, say, the left-hand side to the right side, taking out all of the opposition's play just in one pass. And you were doing that a lot, weren't you? Just in the sessions. Because I think in the sessions we did, it was never full pitch. It was only kind of like short pitch.
It was like a third, wasn't it? Like a third of the pitch.
You had to hit that ball really all the time.
So would that be wing backs you're going into there?
Yeah, so it's like we used to do a session with, it was only mannequins, mate, like in the middle third of the pitch. Yeah. So it was mannequins on each side, and you had to break the mannequins. I don't know if you ever remember it. And it'd be 11v11. But it was a shorter pitch, so it's obviously your body's everywhere, do you know what I mean? And it was kind of, as soon as it comes to me, just try and do it as quick as you can.
So what do you prefer then, Con? Coming from the left-hand side to go back foot to hit that one? Because that one's difficult, isn't it? When it comes from the
right winger.
Yeah, that was always the pass that I
going
enjoyed.
Across your body.
I always had, like, because I was quite close to Doc as well. I always say this.
So intelligent.
Oh, mate, I always say this to this day. His run made my pass, mate. Because his run was so on the money every time. It just had to be a pass into a space, because he would be there no matter what. I had such a such a camaraderie, such a feeling with him. Whereas if I played it, he was going to get it.
Yeah.
And he was so like you said, Edo, he was so intelligent, that run, mate, wasn't he? He was really good at it.
It was different to any other centre half you've seen hit that pass. Usually centre half will hit a high flighted one, but this was like
drill.
It wasn't low. It was above head height, but not far above head height, was it? It's sort of like 10 foot in the air, all the way power. But the ability just to take the other team out of the game straight away, and then it was bam.
Yeah,
we was in, weren't we?
And with attack.
That beats the first press and second press.
It does, yeah. And I think that's what. So going back to my original point, you're talking, and that pass in particular, I think he thought, wow, let's roll with this, and then it just.
Yeah, no, it was good though, mate, weren't it? Because we could, I think we could feel something as a team that we were onto something. I really do. I think we felt it from quite early on, if I'm being honest with you. And it was, like I said, from the first day he came in, you kind of got the impression that he wanted to do something with us, and obviously it was okay.
Didn't have a great pre-season though, did we? Results-wise.
No, how shocking, mate. Remember we come back and got tonked by Shrewsbury. Shrewsbury battered us, didn't they?
Tough place to go, mate.
Shrewsbury battered. We come back from Australia, Shrewsbury battered.
It was Ruben's first game. Ruben Neves' first game in England, and he got absolutely smashed in about 10 minutes in,
injured.
And he had to go off.
And honestly, I told this story the other day. I think it was on 5 Live or something. And he went off, and I was thinking to myself, it's going to be hard for this fella. Honestly, and I can say this now, he's one of my best mates. Do you know what I mean? And you know when Shrewsbury are flying into you, and they were bang on you. By the way, they battered us. And Ruben got absolutely warped. It's his first game, first couple of training sessions. I'm thinking,
would he come for 15 mil as well? Wasn't it?
Yeah,
was it
15? Is English football going to be for him?
Yeah. Do you know that's the thing you think of? I think it's a natural thing to think of. But then obviously you come in.
He did all right.
I am words.
I got that one right.
Next, the championship, sort of at that time was going into it excited, but you probably wouldn't have expected it to be as successful as what it was.
No, certainly not, mate. I don't think any of us thought it was going to be as successful, if I'm being honest with you. I thought from the first couple of games when we played Derby was a big one. First one we played Middlesbrough. I think you was involved in that way. Yeah, we played Middlesbrough at home and we won 1-0. I don't think we were great from what I can remember. And then we played Derby second game, and I'll always remember being sat on the bus after the game and Doc being on the bus. You know what Doc could be like. And he went, we're going up. We are getting put. This was set 2 games in, by the way. 2 games in, by the way. We're on the back of the bus and Doc's going, we are going up. We're getting out of this league this year. And he was so confident, honestly, because we're not won it. Remember Derby? Derby used to tonk us, mate, didn't they?
Horrible place to go.
Remember some of the results, mate? We used to get beat like 3 and 4s at Derby. Honestly, it was tough, weren't it? Remember Chris Martins and people like this who used to play with them. I remember playing right back there, and Johnny Russell torn me apart, mate. Tore me apart. So to go there and win was massive for us. I remember we played Barry Douglas scored and Cav, I think it was. And we were good. Played really, really well. So I think we never expected it to be as successful, but it was the whole thing was incredible, mate. Yeah, it was incredible.
And you kind of run away of it a little bit towards the end, but there were some big moments in that season which kind of propelled you, weren't they? Were they some of your highs?
Yeah.
So I think of the games like the Cardiff game and things like that.
Mate.
Is that the nine men?
That was Middlesbrough. So there was a few at Edo's, right? There's a few in that season that I look back and I go, the games come at the right time because it gave us a chance to really get away from somebody. So the first one was Bristol City. Played Bristol. Remember Benno scoring against Bristol City. So we played Bristol City. Danny got sent off early doors, Danny Bath. So we got sent off early doors. We went 1-0 down. And I don't know if this ever come out, but Nuno and Lee Johnson had a little bit of needle there. You could feel it before the game. I think Lee Johnson come out before the game and said something. The whole league wants us to win, so Wolves don't run away with it. And I think that irked Nuno and the club a little bit. 'Cause it was kind of like, the whole league don't want you to win. I'm not having that. Do you know what I mean? It was kind of putting pressure on different things. So I remember the team talk before that game, and Nuno was like dead strong in how he was saying, we need to win this because he's come out and said this. And it was kind of all the lads were like, you could feel it in the hotel in the meeting before. So we played that game, we went down 10 minutes, went 1-0 down, and then Doc went clean through and goal, 1v1, keeper brought him down, got sent off, and we scored off the resulting free kick, 1-0, and then Nuno got sent to the stands. So he got sent off, so he's up in the stands watching it in one of the boxes. I don't know if you remember the video. Yeah. And last minute of the game, Barry Douglas whips in a free kick. Ryan Bennett, back post, header, 2-1, win the game. Everyone goes berserk, crowds on the pitch, the whole lot. Nuno's in the box, giving it a punch, and somehow fellas nudging him. Like, get away. Honestly, everything was just incredible. Brilliant. So again, Bristol City were flying at that point, and they were kind of creeping. Do you know what I mean? And that kind of gave us a little bit of breathing space from them. And then they kind of fell away a little bit, and then you talk about the Middlesbrough game, we went down to, again, we hadn't been to Middlesbrough and won in, I think it was 65 years, mate, 70 years, something mad. So it was so hard to go there. We knew how tough it was going there. But the good thing about that season was, because we had so many new players who probably hadn't played in the league, none of them knew about these things. Yeah. So it was kind of just, a game to them. Do you know what I mean? Whereas someone like me, or if you were playing Edo or Danny and different things, it was kind of like, this Middlesbrough's hard.
Got bad memories.
Middlesbrough's tough. Do you know what I mean? To get a win here is tough. But them lads were just like, butter away.
Almost took the emotion out of it.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Let's just crack on and let's play. And that was what it was like. Maybe we went 2-0 up early doors, and then Ruben ended up getting sent off. Doc ended up getting sent off, and literally we were defending on our 6-yard box, mate. Come the end of the game, do you know what I mean? We were just, Adama obviously signed for us the year later, and we were just booting him, mate. We were just whacking him all game just to stop him. Honest to God, lads were just taking yellows left, right, and centre, and he scored late on. But to hold out for that, that was a big week, because we played. Obviously, we missed Doc and Ruben then for the next game, Hull that week on the Tuesday. And we had a young lad playing in the game, Oscar Bear. Do you remember Oscar Bear?
Yeah.
He scored a header in the game, and he'll be remembered for that goal. We drew 2-0, getting beat 2-1. He scored last minute header. And then we played Cardiff on the Friday, who was second. And Fly, if they'd have won, I think they'd have gone a point or two behind us. Again, it's the John Ruddy game. Like, I talk about it as the John Ruddy game. I've never known an ending to a game like it in my life, mate. Honestly, I give a penalty away, and it was just...
Ruben has scored a worldie before this,
Ruben stuck a free kick in the top bin, and honest to God, mate, I thought it was a complete like Wolves away performance. We scored, we defended, we were together, we were compact, we were solid. Everything that we were good at, we done. And then the last 5-6 minutes of the game, Mike Dean was referee, so you can imagine. But Mike Dean, just mad at him. So we give 2 penalties away. I give one away. John saves it. Then another penalty goes, and it's the bar, and it was just manic. Do you know what I mean? And then everything just kicked off after. And you'll know Edo about, like, obviously playing and getting promoted for the club, but on the bus after the game, it was more mentally tired, mate. Just mentally, we were knackered from that week. It wasn't really the legs. It was just mentally we lay there. We just went. Gaffer gave us a few days off after that game. We needed it just to rest our heads because it was such a big week for us. Yeah,
self belief from that week.
It was huge. Yeah, we were nearly there at that point. We were nearly there, and I remember I think Derby come after that. If I made the Ruben goal, and again Derby was such a tough game for us. And we beat them 2-0 at home, and then I think from that game onwards, I think we knew we're there now. We're there. We wouldn't say it at the time. Do you know what I mean? You never go and say it at the time, but we kind of knew we're nearly there now. It's nearly done, yeah.
Tell us about your memories of that goal.
Ruben's?
Yeah.
Oh, behind it, mate. I'll be honest with you, you obviously speak about Helder quite a lot, don't you? They're obviously playing with Helder. Yeah. Ruben's the best player I've played with in terms of ability and talent, and he's one of my best mates as well, if I'm being honest with you, so I'm probably a little bit biased, but the talent he has, the way he can strike a ball, how clever he is playing football, the way he can pass a ball, his technique, everything that he's got. And I was right behind the volley. His first touch is poor, by the way. His first, don't let him tell you he meant his first touch. His first touch is miles off it. Miles off it. He meant to put it on the floor. Honest to God, miles off the first touch. So obviously his first touch goes up and you're thinking, I remember thinking at the time he's going to hit this, and he hit it. And you know, it's one of them.
That's probably the only thing he could do at that position.
Yeah, 100%. You can only hit it. And you just know, don't you? You know when someone strikes a ball.
Unbelievable striking it.
What a goal! Honest to God, I've never seen a goal like it live. And I ran off. I was more happy than him. If you see the celebrations, he's kind of cool as pointing into his head like he does when he scores. And I'm going mad. I'm like, what? This is incredible. What a goal! Honest to God, what a goal! Incredible, mate. What a player. Yeah.
Because obviously big year for you. And we've touched on it with Dave. What are key ingredients then in and around the championship? Do you think?
Do you know what I thought? I thought the biggest thing was for us, mate, that time was that we never changed. We got better at what we were good at. Do you know what I mean? I know that might sound a bit daft, but we were good at playing a certain way. And the gaffer gave us a chance to get better at it. So, you know, rather than changing week on week, we used to do it a lot under Paul Lambert. So we'd focus so much on the other team. So the other team would play 4-3-3. So we'd have to play something to adapt to how they were playing. Yeah. We never ever done that. And it's like that now under the gaffer now as well, to be honest with you. We've got a certain way of playing and it gives us the best possible chance to get better at that way. Because I think if you're changing week in, week out, how can you get better at that one thing when you're only working on it a few days going into a game?
Absolutely.
So he was so big on that, and it's exactly the same under the gaffer now. The gaffer now is fantastic for it as well, but that was what was so big that scene. I think a lot of teams were changing because of the way we were playing, but we were just getting better and getting better and getting better at 3 at the back, 5 at the back, and we were just improving week on week, whereas teams were coming to us and trying to play a different way to try and catch us out. But we were giving ourselves the best chance to improve, and I thought that was a massive factor in why we've done so well that season, if I'm being honest with you.
You just touched on it there. You're saying like the opposition will look at you and change what they're doing to try and combat you. So, but you're not doing that.
Yeah.
So how do you combat the opposition? Because obviously you've got like, this is our theme, this is our game strategy, this is how we're going about playing this game, every game. How do you combat those problems then that the opposition have? Do you just do that within your formation and within your game strategy?
Yeah, that was what it was about. Sticking to the same formation. I remember that season we never ever changed. We might have changed to a 3 midfield at one point. We might have gone back to a 2, but the 3 never changed. I always remember he used to say we were very defensive. I'll be honest, we were a very defensive team. We were a counter-attack team, maybe a little bit different in the Championship because...
And more of the ball in the Championship.
Yeah, because you have more of the ball. The Premier League becomes different. But we were a defensive side, and I always remember him saying about the 5. The 5 was his wall. He used to say, it's the 5 zone. So when we're defending, it's a wall. When we've got the ball, it's a net. So we'd say, your net's always there for you no matter what. Your net is your security. Your net's your insurance. Your net will never, ever leave you. So you'd have Doc, you'd have 2 full-backs, you'd have a middle of a centre-half, with me, and a left-back, and that was your net of the whole pitch, and everyone else would then go and play. And it was never net. We would always look at the other team, of course we would, because we respected every team we played against. But we were so determined to improve ourselves as a team that we just do the same things every single day.
Yeah, I remember playing, obviously I'd moved on at this point and I was at Reading. I remember coming to Molineux and we were doing exactly what you've just said. We're trying to work out ways that we can stop you playing. So we're thinking of different formations and things like that. But playing against you, it just felt like you had too many weapons. Do you know what I mean? You had too many ways you could hurt us. I remember we got beat 3-0 and they absolutely battered us. But it just felt like even if we stopped Ruben playing, you've got Jota. You stop Jota, you got Cavallero. You got Helder coming off the bench. Do you know what I mean? You had Doc scoring goals after goals. Barry Douglas could put best cross in the game. It just felt like you had too much for the Championship.
They kind of ticked every box, to be fair, mate. Even with the signings that they made in the summer, you look at Barry, so if you're having a bit of an off game, for example, Barry Douglas could whip in a free kick. Barry Douglas could put a corner on a sixpence for Big Danny to go and header or whatever that may be. Do you know what I mean? Whoever that was playing. So
ways to win.
Yeah, so we had so many different tools within inside the thing. So if you stopped a certain player, you then start switching to play a little bit more to Doc and to Baz. If you then matched us up with 5 at the back, you'd play a little bit more through the middle. It was like cat and mouse at times, do you know what I mean? So if a team would then come and press you, you'd flip it in behind. The gaffer wouldn't mind flipping it in behind either. He wasn't so hung up on keeping the ball and playing and ticky-tack and all this sort of stuff. Go and press you, flip it, let's run. Do you know what I mean? Let's get after him. So there were so many different ways of playing that season, mate. Yeah, I know what you're saying there.
What was that like, Dave, coming back then that season? I didn't realise you'd come back with Red.
Did you get a good reception, mate? You must have got a good reception. Yeah. I was gonna say,
fans were great. I mean, it was a bit of a strange one because, I don't know if you remember this, Coach, but I was obviously one of the first games, I've been at Red about 2 or 3 games. We played Wolves at Reading.
Yeah, I remember 2-0 Doc scored, didn't he?
Doc scored, and you guys filled out the away end at the Medeski, and I got a good reception then. But then when I was desperate to come back and play at Molineux, and we travelled up the night before one of the games, and it was snowing, and then the game got called off. I don't know if you remember the game got called off. I do, So I felt like that moment had gone. Yeah, it actually worked out for me because I was going to be on the bench that game. So then we've gone back down, but then I played the following game. It was a night game, but loved the occasion because it was nice being back and got a good reception. But 5 minutes into the game, hated it. Just because we were getting battered.
Who were you up against then?
So it'd be Neves. Romain was playing midfield then, wasn't he?
Yeah, he played centre mid. Yeah, he played centre mid a lot. Yeah.
But I was having a bit more license to go as well. I was playing more of an attacking midfielder, so I'd end up getting pulled out into areas where I'm pressing Coes or Willy Bolly, and you're pressing them knowing you're not getting the ball. That's disheartening. That's what it felt like. I'm pressing big Willy Bolly, and I'm thinking he's just going to chop me or play Coes, or he's got easy passes on everywhere. Do you know what I mean?
Options everywhere.
So it was disheartening, but great occasion. But you were. I think it's one of the best teams to have won the Championship. I really do. In terms of players you had on the pitch, the way you played. Yeah. I know Reading, when they get the record,
they got the
points, they had a great team.
Yeah.
I think Wolves are right up there with them from that year.
I think a big disappointment in it was, for us, mate, we played Sunderland last game of the season. Don't know if you remember the game, mate. Yeah, we played Sunderland last game of the season and could have gone over 100 points. And it was big for us that because we said to ourselves, we always want to play for something. So when we got promoted, we then wanted to go and win the league. And then we won the league. I remember coming in the week after and we were all thinking, he's going to give us a bit of a chill here. Do you know what I mean? And he was bang on it. He was saying, I want to get over 100 points. So we were always playing for something. So we played Sunderland last game of the season and they'd just been reloed. So he changed, John had to have a bit of an operation. So he only made like one change. It was the keeper. And we're thinking going there, we'll be fine. We could have got 102 points. I think we finished on 99. And Sunderland were incredible. They played a load of kids. And he tonked us 3-0. It was roasting hot. This is nowhere like it was roasting hot. And we went there thinking, let's be fine. And it, again, we go back to a mentality thing, do you know what I mean? Thinking it was going to be all right. And it was our own fault. And don't get me wrong, it was hard to get out of that mode of, we've won the league.
Yeah, it's a little bit subconsciously.
It was hard to get out of that. But that is a little bit of a regret because it would have been nice as a club and as a team saying the Championship got promoted to the Premier League with over 100 points. And by the way, Sunderland were top. They battered us. And I mean, it could have been 5. Honest to God, they battered us. It was just dead weird. Dead weird. But then after that, we had the parade and different things. It was amazing. But
talk us about the celebrations then. You don't drink, do you?
No, I don't drink. And do you know what? Majority of our boys don't drink, so it's probably not what it would have been if you and Danny and Ken Mack were there, mate. It would have probably been a bit different. It would have probably been a bit different if you boys were there. But no, quite a lot of the boys don't drink. So we went to Vegas. So Vegas was the top draw, mate. Honestly, what a place.
How times moved on. Like we went up East Magaluf.
What a place. Honestly, one of the best. And it was incredible because we had the parade, and Wolves is massive in it for football. You know yourself, mate. Incredible support, incredible crowd, and that day will live with me forever because it was just a sea of Wolves fans, a sea of gold and black, and just the trophy and the medal and the lads together. And we went into West Park, and there was thousands, mate, thousands of people. We were on stage, and thousands of people singing songs. And it was incredible. So then straight after that, we had like the awards evening and different things. And then we went to Vegas the next morning, and it was just, we spent 4 or 5 days in Vegas, whatever it was, and amazing, man. Brilliant. Just amazing, man. Just memories for life, do you know what I mean? Lads together.
All the lads go as well to Vegas.
Mate, Portuguese boys, do you know what I mean?
No wives, anything. All the lads go 5 days.
And by the way, like, the lads don't really drink. Like, none of them. Do you know what I mean? There's a few lads who drink. Danny and different people were there, but not many lads drink. And like Diogo was quiet as a mouse. Do you know what I mean? What a fella. Lovely fella. What a player. And honestly, loved the roulette table. Do you know what I mean? Loved the roulette tables. And we'd come in the morning, he'd be on the roulette table. We'd go back out, and he'd be on the roulette table. Amazing, mate, amazing. But yeah, incredible memories. Yeah.
I told these boys when those boys first came in. So Ruben came in and Jota. I always thought Jota was the one, and I thought, wow, he is.
Yeah, you said that, didn't you?
I said he was the one in training most. Ruben did some amazing things. I said I was only there maybe a month or so, but Jota, he just. The way he would bounce off people.
How direct was he, mate?
Direct, good in the air, but just didn't have anything about him in terms of tricks or anything like that. It was just efficient with his football, wasn't it?
Everything. And you know what, mate? Loads of people said to me, because I've got like lots of Liverpool fans who are friends and different things, all my mates, and you know when he signed him, it was kind of like, what's Jota like?
And everybody thought, no one thought he's getting a game.
And I'm saying, listen, he is top. And I mean top, and I think he can go again. Do you know what I mean? That's honestly my honest opinion of him, because I think he's fantastic. But everything that Edo's just said there, he's bang on. Just his legs. He used to do Nordics. Have you heard of Nordics?
Yeah.
Or Nordics. So Nordics come down, he'd go back up and just doing Nordics like this. I'm thinking, honestly,
what do you mean Nordics? Just mean like
Nordics are like where someone holds onto your feet, aren't they? And then you've got to go down like kind of like, and you drop forward. You can't hold yourself.
It's for your hamstrings, isn't it? So you control your way down with your hamstrings.
And
honestly, how far you can go. I'll go about 2 inches.
And just drop.
And you're dropping it. Your hands. He would go, mate, and up and down. I'm thinking, this fella's a machine. Do you know what I mean? But incredible footballer, mate. Honestly, incredible.
Yeah, because he has gone. I mean, like I remember him saying for Liverpool, and everybody
40
said what you
40
said.
million as well.
Everybody went, he's not going to play, waste of time, but he is
incredible
He's
footballer, mate. Honestly,
good lad as well.
Top, but just smashes everything, doesn't he, as well? Just smashes everything. We played him the other week, didn't we? And he ended up going around sad or whatever. He ended up on the line.
Oh, yeah, I remember
and I'm
that.
thinking to myself, right, he's going to smash this. Not because I know, and I'm not being clevery or nothing like that, but I'm just thinking, as I get back onto the line, me and Max were on the line, Max Kilman, and it's in the heat of the moment and everything, and he's running towards goal. And as he's running towards goal, I'm on the line, and my ankle was hanging off. And he's running towards goal. I'm thinking he's going to smash this because he doesn't place it. He doesn't use the side of his foot. He just smashes it. So I'm thinking, I'm not going to move. I'm going to close my eyes and I'm just going to see if it hits me. And it hit me, and he smashed it, mate. And I said to him after the game, why have you not just passed that into the corner? And he went, because I thought you were going to move. So I knew straight away he was going to smash, because that's all he does. And he scores so many doing it. Do you know what I mean? Fantastic footballer, but brilliant person as well, mate. Yeah.
That's good to hear, because you hear all the people, Sky and Match of the Day, talking about Coady's defending. I'm like, he's read him so well there. He shuts his eyes.
Close my eyes, get back on the line, make myself as big as I can. And just, hit me now. Let's get away.
Mate, I know you've seen none of the lads these days really drink, but obviously back in the day, Dave and a few of the boys did.
Yeah.
What? Tell me about Dave in Austria. You had to look after him a little bit.
Yeah, it was good night. I've got pictures of me. I'm going to take pictures of me.
Oh, you have to send them to
Pints about that big, mate, size of our heads and that, yeah. But we
had a day off, didn't we?
Yeah, we had a day off. You know,
get that in there, Dave.
Yeah, like Dave.
Dave, you don't play for him anymore.
You're not getting to move back, Dave. You're not getting back in that second bit, Dave.
Brilliant, mate, honestly. So we found out about this top of a mountain. There was these things at the top of the mountain. Remember the big ride that took us back?
You were scared, weren't you?
Oh, I hated it, mate. So we went to this top of the mountain. The gaffer didn't know we were going out. Like, so obviously the English boys, there was me, Edo, Benno, John. Do you mean all just thought lads just wanted to have a bit of a drink?
Danny, Harry Burgoyne.
Danny Burgoyne, yeah. There's a few of us, and Barry Douglas came. There's a few of us, weren't there? And we got to the top of this mountain. We had some kit man drive all the kit out there, so we banged us in the back of his van. You could feel us all going around all the hills and that. He had big boxes of Corona in the back of his thing, and all the lads were on the Corona in the back of the van and that. Gets to the top, and there's this big ride, and this ride literally took you further up the mountain. So you got on it, you were hanging forward, weren't you?
Completely.
So you're basically hanging forward. Yeah, like you're flying.
Kept in the seat
and it would pull you back right up to the top of the mountain and drop you. So you would then fly back down the mountain, not fast, but but you would fly down the mountain, wouldn't
Why
you?
on earth we did that?
Do you know what I mean?
We paid and queued up for this.
But we were so excited. All in our Wolves gear, by the way.
Yeah.
All of us in our Wolves gear. So we goes it, but we just had a bit to drink and a bit of food,
I think it's
didn't
the
we?
humidity which did me.
Yeah.
And Big John was guzzling it, wasn't he?
Guzzling it, mate. Ben up. But then we got back to the hotel and started getting on it in the hotel.
yeah.
And he said, like the gaffer walked past him and was like double talk as if like, what are you doing there having a drink? It's middle of pre-season.
I remember we had to report back for dinner, and I always remember I sat next to Coach having dinner, and I just remember Coach just grabbed my leg and says, Edo, you're so loud. Usually I'm like quite quiet. Lost all my inhibitions.
Mate, honestly, it's all right, mate. Honestly, I know what I'm doing.
This is what it was like at dinner, asking everybody questions and that, but dead loud. See all the stuff like that. Oh, looking over like
He's had a few.
Do you know what I mean?
He's had a few.
It was brilliant, honestly. But I remember, do you remember the kit man bringing us back in the back of the van?
Yeah,
All the lads
yeah,
on the
yeah.
Coronas in the back. You could hear all the Coronas flying because they were all like country roads, weren't they? All the lads go, "Hey!"
I love it. Love all
Brilliant.
that.
Honestly, brilliant.
No, it was good, man. It was good. So, Premier League next.
Yeah.
I always thought, and now going back onto how good I thought you boys were in the Championship, I would tell everyone you'll do well in the Premier League as well. Not like a lot of teams, you don't know how they'll do, but I knew you would be mid-table minimum, just with what you had there, the players you already had in the Championship, but then you went and got
Matinho, yeah. Johnny
Patricio,
also, yeah. Raul came in, Raul came in, yeah.
Quite fancied going at that season, weren't they? You know, normally the teams coming up, nobody get written off. No one was writing Wolves off, were they?
Again, I think I go back to, I think the biggest thing was that he stuck to his principles. He stuck to his beliefs. I think it would have been easy for a manager to really come into the Premier League and panic a little bit. Do you know what I mean? I always remember a conversation at the end of the Championship season I had with him when he kept me on the pitch for ages, and he said, right, we need to start focusing on next season now. And I was like, yeah. And he said, the line can't be as high and different things. And this is where I go back to being a defensive team. He was going, the line can't be as high. So we stood on a pitch at the training ground at Compton. And he pulled me up to the top of the pitch by the halfway. And he said, what happens if you stand here and you're playing against Mane and Salah? So I said, I'm just going to run in there, aren't he? So he went, exactly. He said, so why would you stand there? He said, the line needs to be deeper next year. He said, we can't be as high as what we've been. He said, you have to be deeper. And I think that was the thing. He was keeping the 5 up, that was always staying, but that was what he had in his head, saying we can't give people spacing behind us because they'll kill us. They'll kill us. So we've got to be more pragmatic. We've got to be a little bit more focused and switched on to what we're doing and who we're playing against. And I think that was a big part of it as well. So, but I think that was a big thing, sticking to his principles and sticking to his beliefs, because I think it would have been easy just to flip and go, right, now we start playing a 4 or now we start doing this, and it would have been even harder.
And the players he brought in, any massive standouts? Was any of them you thought, wow, this is like Matinho come in, and listen, I think when they all come in, mate, I think it was a little bit of a good. This is good. This is right. This is like Raul coming in was special. Do you know what I mean? I remember being linked with him and watching him. I think, I don't know, was it the World Cup that year? The World Cup, yeah. You said it was a World Cup, didn't you? And he was at the World Cup with Mexico. So I remember thinking, I'll have a little watch around the World Cup and different things. Johnny came in. We obviously lost Baz and different things. So they were important signings, really important signings. But when Matinho came in, you go, yeah, this fella's the one.
What was he like?
Nah, just special, mate. Just special. Smelt a million as well. Came in and I remember his first session, right?
Good looking fella as well.
Oh, just a million tans, just looking great. And he came in and he trained with his laces undone. Honestly, this is nowhere to lie with his laces undone. I don't know if I told him, he was training with his laces undone. I'm thinking, this fella's a joke. Honestly, he's a proper player. It must have only been a light session, but even like with your laces, I never dream of doing it with your laces undone. Do you know what I mean? I remember sitting at the end of training, having a bit of a stretch, like cooling down, and you're trying to make conversation. So where are you thinking about living? I'm thinking, I'm asking this fella where he's thinking about living in. Do you know what I mean? Just lived in Monaco. Just lived in Monaco.
Come and stop at mine. Come and stop at mine. Back in the day.
Whatever you want, yeah. Come and stop with me in London and buy a bag of squashies or something. But mate, what a player, what a sign, and how good's he been for us? And even now, mate, I think he's 35, and he's smashing it every single week, fit as a fiddle, going and going and going. Do you know what I mean? So incredible football. Yeah, he was a big one.
Yeah, even at his age, like I felt my legs going at probably 32, 33, but I watched Matinho play. The amount of times he wins the ball back, you know what I mean? So sharp, isn't he?
Doesn't stop, and he gets that many interceptions and tackles a game. It's remarkable, mate, what he's like. And mate, you want to see him at head tennis. I've never seen a fella play head tennis like it in my life. Honestly, you can't beat him. Honestly, God, if he plays head tennis, he go like you do twos. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. If him and Neto or him and Neves go together, you're dead, mate. It's like 6, 7. Honest to God, mate, he's incredible.
Be fair, me and Sam haven't lost since '94. Just let them know. Just let them know if they want a game. Like we're in, aren't we?
Yeah, honest to God, mate, you can't beat them. Incredible, honestly.
Love that. So obviously, then all of these players are coming in, and are you thinking we've obviously gone to the Premier League now.
Yeah.
Is there a centre half coming in? Is there?
Yeah.
Obviously, because we had this conversation with you, Dave, when you got promoted to the Premier League, didn't you? And it's obviously got to be in the back of your mind a little bit,
Without a
but
doubt.
he's obviously stuck with you. Testament to you, obviously.
Yeah, without a doubt. And then I like I said, the biggest thing for us was sticking to what we knew. That was a massive part of it. But then when we first go up, you think, what's he looking at here? You can go and do what you want. I mean, go and buy who you want, go and sign who you want, because they can do. The club are in a position to do so now. And you're always worrying. It's always in the back of your head. But then you think to yourself, if I get the chance, I'm going to give it the best I can to keep hold of it. And I don't think we never signed a centre half. Benno was before that, weren't he? So I don't think we signed a centre half, and he stuck with what he knew, and it helps us, mate. I'll be honest with you. There's that continuity.
Absolutely.
The continuity was brilliant. There wasn't that thought in the back of your head thinking, oh, so and so is coming in. And he's got. There was just continuity. We was always playing with each other. It was the same people from the Championship, and that was so big for us going into it, mate.
And there's a lot to be said for that, isn't there? Like you say, it's all well and good getting like what you perceive to be better players in. But if you stick with what you've got, that continuity, that often
I
has
think
a better
it's clever,
effect.
mate. I think it's clever. I think a lot of people forget that. I think we kept 24 clean sheets in the Championship the year before. Do you know what I mean? It's a lot. And I think if you were to bring someone in who then takes even Bolly's place or Benno's place, I think they can then look at themselves and go, a little bit hard done by there. Do you know what I mean? I've done everything I can to do this, do that, kept the most clean sheets in the champ. Surely I get a chance. And then it's up to me to up to me to lose that. But yeah, it's clever. It's clever management for me. It's been a clever club.
He was a little bit ruthless though with two that come to mind. Obviously, Big John Ruddy, 24 clean sheets. Yeah. But he brings in Rui Patricio, which John's probably just thought.
Because you have got to be ruthless as well, haven't you?
Do you know what?
Barry Douglas was the one though, I thought.
Yeah, really ruthless. But then again, Johnny come in and Johnny's incredible, mate. Honestly, what a fantastic footballer Johnny is.
I remember at the time the fans were like,
yeah.
Especially because Johnny was right-footed. He was so good, and he's brought in.
Especially because Johnny was right-footed as well.
Johnny, a right-footed player.
A right-footed left back. But John was the one. It was tough for the big fella because he was so good, mate. He is the one goalkeeper. I'd say he's the best goalkeeper I've played with in terms of his physicality, his presence of having him behind. He was incredible, mate. What he done in the Championship season was amazing. And it was a real tough one on the big fella, that, because I thought he deserved his chance to obviously go and play in the Premier League again. So it was a real tough one. But like I said, I go back to obviously the centre-half situation. I just think it was being clever from the club and clever management to say, no, we stick with what we've got, we stay with it, we keep going, and the continuity stays, and it worked for us a little bit. Yeah.
So you never worried about your place or anything like that?
When we first went up, you always think who they're going to bring in, but then it was up to me to perform, and I make sure I'm performing and give the best version of myself every single day, and I made sure I'd done that, and I'm still doing that now as much as I can, to be honest.
And you were rewarded, weren't you? So, which obviously you've capitalised on, but you also made the captain then.
Yeah,
is that right?
Captain, well, you were.
Yeah, it was like it was like me and Dan, weren't it? So when Dan never played, I was captain of the team then, and it was such a privilege, mate. Honestly, what was it like? Do you know what I mean? Captain the club's amazing, and mate, and it's incredible.
Because it brings so many responsibilities. People see what it is on the pitch.
It's the greatest role ever, mate. Honestly, I love it. I love every bit about it. And then it become hard. I'll tell you, the hardest point I've had was in lockdown, mate, because the amount of video calls and meetings you were going on for all kinds that was happening was mad. But honest to God, the best role, and when I got given it, it was such a privilege, mate. Honestly, because I was just trying to learn. I learned so much from Dan because he was a fantastic captain, mate, for me individually, for us, when he was a brilliant person, a great fella. But even the other players I play with in the dressing room, Keems, Edo, do you know what I mean? All these players were massive for me, and so I learned so much from them that when I got it, mate, it was such a privilege. Yeah, I love every minute of it. Yeah.
And so they've played a part in you getting that role, and obviously you have to take the accolades for that, but the things that you've learned over the years.
Oh, without a doubt, mate. I played. Remember Mark Hudson? So I played on the Hoodie at Huddersfield as well. What a captain he was. Absolutely right up there with the lads I've just mentioned, and not even just from Wolves, just from the clubs I played at previously. I've tried to take everything from all of them just to try and adapt it to how football's changed now. Young lads are a little bit different coming through, and I think you've got to speak to them a little bit differently. And
it's more complicated, Con, isn't it?
And try and get the best out of them, because you want to try and make them feel at home when they come up. You want them to help you, do you know what I mean? So, but I love every minute of it. It's so, mate, honest to God, it's such an incredible role. I love it, yeah.
And you've touched on obviously having to deal with the lockdown stuff, but obviously as well, you've got different cultures to be dealing with. You've got different lads who are away from home. I mean, there's so much to go into that, to being a captain, and what it means to be a captain, and the roles and responsibilities that you've got.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, mate. I'm really lucky as well that I'm part of the dressing room. I've got there's players in our dressing room who help me as much as I help them, and that's the God's honest truth, mate. So I'm so lucky to be part of the dressing room I'm in. But at the same time, it's trying to bring everyone together when they come over, and making sure they feel welcome. Do you know what I mean? That they can come to me for anything, that they can come to the club for anything.
Helping them settle in and stuff.
Yeah, of course, mate. And it helps that we've got obviously quite a lot of Portuguese boys, doesn't it? And Portuguese boys come over and they know each other really well. But knowing that I'm there no matter what, I think that's a massive part of it. Yeah.
And there's like, obviously as a captain, everybody will watch, you know, Sky Sports and they'll watch the Premier League, and you see different captains, don't you? And like what springs to our minds are like, you know, you've got David Beckham, who could be a type of captain. You'd have a John Terry. So we sort of see you as almost that John Terry type-esque. You know, is that would it be fair to say?
Yeah. I try and talk as much as I can, mate. I try and let people know that I'm there to help. That's the biggest thing for me. Around the club, whether it be at the club, they know that they can drop me a message whenever they want. And even when a player signs for the club, I try and make it where I drop them a text before they've even signed. Do you know what I mean? So they know they've got a friendly face as soon as they come in, even though they probably know a couple of the boys anyway, because obviously we sign Portuguese lads quite often. So I think it's important for that, but helping people, mate, is the biggest thing to make the environment good for people to come and play. Why would you want to come to an environment that you don't like? Do you know what I mean? It'd be the worst thing in the world, wouldn't it? Imagine going to work and not like it.
Oh, absolutely. I suppose it's why you're so highly thought of, though, mate.
It'd be the worst thing ever, mate. So I think it's important to make sure the environment's right for everybody to train right in, to be honest.
Love that.
Yeah.
Class, mate. Is that true about ringing people then and texting people? Because I've heard that before they've come over when you sign.
No, I think it's important. I think it's important to do, mate, and it's something where like I said, I'd hate the thought, mate. Honestly, I'd hate the thought of someone coming over nervous or panicking about a situation. I'm going to Wolves and I need to relax. Coming to the club. The club's so good, mate, and it's such an incredible football club to be a part of. And I just want people to know that when they come over, that they can just be settled and enjoy coming in.
It must be difficult with the different cultures, though, I think. So back in a captain in our day, you'd be a captain and like you'd organise it nights out and stuff, but you've got so many different cultures, different like attitudes to life.
I think it's picking the right night out these days, mate, because it's not like what it used to be. Believe me, it's more of a dinner and a wine.
I don't know the Bourne con, because I had to move up here from Essex, and on my first day, Sam fouled me from behind, stamped all over me, and run off with the ball. And,
Do you know what I mean? It's not good enough.
I didn't get a text, I didn't get a call.
That's not good enough, that is it?
I didn't have a phone, that's why.
Here we are, 18 years later.
Doing this, No, massive part of it, mate, massive part.
Fantastic, mate. So then finally coming on to being picked for England. I mean, talk me through that. How did you get the call?
Yeah, I remember it to this day, mate. Honestly, incredible, and it was mad. Really, I'll be honest with you, and it's probably my own doing. But since I've been playing the Premier League, I always at every England call up, at every England squad announcement, I always sat in front of the telly and watched it. Do you know what I mean? Just thinking I might just be in with a nod here. Do you know what I mean? Honestly, I might sound a bit soft saying that. Do you know what I mean? But I did. I always sat in front of the telly, and Amy would be like, "Well, I'm just watching the England call.
Just in case. Do you know what I mean?
Just in case. Think like so naive, thinking I'd have had a call up before. It wouldn't be that. You know what I mean? So I'd always sit there, and then this one day, exactly the same again. I watched the call up on the telly, and obviously the call up had happened, and then I ended up going for a walk with my little man. My little man's friend lives over the street, so I was taking him to his friends, and he fell over. Was walking across the street and he fell over and little man's kicking off and I'm thinking, so everything's going off, got all his screw, got my little man in one hand. Next minute my phone's going in my pocket and I can feel it going. Thinking, I'll ring them back. So I goes back to the house, Freddie's crying his eyes out, and passed him over to Amy. Looks at my phone, I had a text message off a number. But the number made out as if it wasn't Gareth Southgate. Right. Yeah. So it said, can you please ring Gareth Southgate back? So I put back, yeah, of course, will do. Who's this? But it was Gareth Southgate. So I'm putting back to the England manager, who's this? So I thought I'm going to have to ring this number back. So I goes back to the knocks on the door, take Freddie, I've got to ring Gareth Southgate. So she went, what's going on? So I said, leave me alone a minute, I'm going to... So I started outside, rings him back, answer the phone, hiya Conor. Incredible, mate. Honestly, gives me goosebumps now to talk about it. Absolutely incredible. And he just basically said, like, at first he asked me because I'd been away. It was a strange one, mate, because it was like a pre-season. The first camp was basically in a pre-season, so a lot of the lads weren't properly fit. They'd been on holiday because the season went for so long the season before. So it was like a pre-season. So he just said to me, how was your holiday? You've been away, blah, blah, blah. How's the family, this, that, and the other. So I said, yeah, great. I'm thinking, yeah, you get to what you're going to tell me. Like, it's not just a talk about Amy and the kids.
Anyway, keep in touch.
Anything you need to say, Gareth?
So then he just went, listen, he said, like, we've watched you over the last couple of years and you've done fantastically well, and we just think now's the opportunity to obviously invite you in. So I was like, oh my God. So I'll be honest, I'm not an emotional fella. I'm not, but it made me a little bit emotional in terms of listening to the conversation and thinking about the conversation. And he just went to be a pleasure to invite you in. I'm looking forward to working you in. And I was like, yeah, okay. No worries, a bit speechless, to be honest. I put the phone down and literally went and told him, give him a big hug and all this, and rang all my family. But the feeling of it, mate, was just, you've had it, Edo, do you know what I mean? We've wailed, but it was incredible. Mate, honest to God, it was incredible. And just the feeling of getting that was amazing. Yeah, something I've worked for my whole life, yeah.
Amazing.
What about our first training session then?
Hard, mate, like pitbull.
Nervous.
Oh,
you couldn't be as chirpy as what you normally are.
Do you know what, mate? I'll be honest. So when I got picked up, I'm quite good friends with Jamie Carragher, so I speak to him quite often, even still now. And he texts me before, as you know, he's quite straight talking, and so he just said, "Make sure you be your fucking self." Go in there. Right. So I just messaged him back saying, like, "What do you mean?" So he said, "Don't shut up. Don't start going into. Just be yourself. Don't go there and be a different Conor, or go there and talk and demand and do what you do." And it resonated with me a little bit, if I'm being honest with you, because it kind of, he's right, why would I go there and be anyone else? Do you know what I mean? And certain Conors got me to this situation, so why would I go there and change? So I went there and tried my best to be the exact person I am with Wolves. Do you know what I mean? And the first training session was hard because we done possession there, Edo. Mate, honestly, it's next level. Honest to God, it's just like everything's one touch, everything's moving. If you lose the ball, you feel like...
And like this is like another level completely to even Wolves.
Yeah, in terms of Wolves is training, but I just mean in terms of everybody's looking to impress. Oh, yeah, it's just like everything's just bang on it. You lose it, someone's on you. You lose it, someone's on you. If you lose it, you've got to be on them. Just the intensity in the training is ridiculous. Honestly, absolutely ridiculous. And I remember the first training session, and I loved it. Yeah. I loved it. Do you know what I mean? I was nervous. I was this. I was that. I was sweating, but I loved it because it was just so. The standard was so high, mate, and it was just incredible to be a part of. Yeah.
Have you heard the Jimmy Bullard version of when he went in with absolute class? He's like he played obviously against David Beckham. It was all that Scholes and Beckham and Lampard. And he's like obviously gone in there, Jimmy Bullard, and he's I think he's had the sort of same. I can't go too Larry because his Larry is right past it, innit? Yeah. And he's like, you know, I always looked at Bex and that and thought, yeah, don't get me wrong, he's a good player. He said,
how good can he be?
How good could he be? He said that they've gone in and they've done like, I don't know, like a Barca box or something like that. Yeah. And he said like it was like 70 levels above what I could. He said the ball was zinging around everywhere.
Bounced off his knee.
He's like, Bex has got the ball, he's fizzed it into me, and he's not just gone like lent it to him. Yeah. He's like fizzed it in, and it's like he's like having a strike at goal, and he's like, he's pointing, he's got off him and that, and Bex has like looked at him and gone, "Are you all right? Come on, mate." Like,
deal with it.
Jimmy Bullard's like, "Mate, I just knew I shouldn't have been there, really." So he's brilliant.
Yeah, brilliant.
It was amazing. Who stood out in that first session? And it was ridiculous.
A load of them, mate. I could give you a list. Phil Foden's incredible. Yeah. Incredible. We've done a session, mate. Honest to God, right? This is nowhere to lie. We've done a session. So Steve Holland's fantastic, by the way. So he does a lot of the sessions. And he does a session 2 boxes, so 2 18-yard boxes, you know what I mean, the length of the pitch. Yeah. And basically there's 3 defenders in one, 3 defenders in the other, 3 attackers, and you're playing against each other all the time. You can't cross, you can't go into the other half and this, that and the other. So I think there was me, Mingsy, and Trips or someone like that. Well, it was someone like that. And we were playing against Phil, Sancho, and someone else. But I swear, mate, they tore me apart. And I mean, like, the first couple of times they were chopping me, I was flying into task, chopping me, scoring. And this was all of us, by the way, chopping. And then I'd hold off, he'd just whip it in the top bin, and you go in. Now I'm holding off, you're not chopping me, you whip it in the top. Yeah. There was just different finishes, different moves, everything. And that was the first time. The first one, you knew the standard was so high. But that was the first time I thought to myself, wow, how good are these players? Honest to God. But in terms of players, I'll be honest with you, mate, I love Declan Rice and I love Mason Mount. I think they're a pair of them, I think, are incredible footballers. I think Mace is so intelligent. I think his intelligence is incredible, and Dec's just got everything, mate. So I think if I'm picking a couple, I'd just pick them 2 off the top of my head. But listen, filled with remarkable football players all over the place. Yeah,
I love that as well, though, Con. Like where you're saying you're in that situation and you're getting chopped, and then you're standing off and he's whipping it in the top corner. It's a bit of a crossroads for you there, isn't it? Yeah. Because at that moment you either go, I don't really deserve to be here, or you go, right, I need to up my game.
Oh, 100%.
So, and I love that because obviously since then your mentality has been, I need to up my game and
without it. And you've got to there, mate, otherwise you get found out, and you get found out pretty quickly. Do you know what I mean? Because if you're not up to speed, you look a bit daft. Do you know what I mean? Because the training level's so high, it's so intense, everything's bang on it. Every single day the lads are on it and on it and on it and on it. That if you're not like that, you look a bit daft. So it's important you like that when you're going. I've mentioned a couple of times now, giving the best version of yourself every single day, I think is important.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. What about the skipper, Harry Kane, finishing? Yeah. I've seen videos of his finishing. Is it just outrageous?
Mate, unbelievable. And we obviously played him on Sunday, didn't we? And what a player, mate. World class, like one of the best in the world, isn't he? In terms of what he does. And I remember that we had a couple of camps before Christmas, and I think the manager had just gone into Tottenham, and he said, I was having a conversation with him about it, and he went, he actually said to me, like, I want to try and be a little bit more of a proper striker, hold the ball up a little bit and different things. So I'm thinking, yeah, next minute, first time in trade, just went bang. Pin me. I'm thinking, like, you've usually been all over the place picking the ball up as a 10 and zinging balls, and he just went bah, ping me, and I couldn't get around. I was trying, you're trying to dig the ball and try and poke the ball away. Yeah. I couldn't get around him, and he done it in the box, like Lukaku does.
Yeah.
He's a big lad, isn't he? He's got a big back and that, hasn't he?
I swear, mate, like Lukaku does it incredibly well, and he done it, mate, first session. And after the ball went out, I went, do that, lad. Jesus, mate, I don't need that. You pinning me into the box and not spinning me in that. Quality. But honest to God, mate, what a player. For England, for Tottenham, I just think an incredible person as well, by the way, a fantastic captain. Yeah. I think how he looks after himself, how he portrays himself, how he does everything right. I think he's a perfect captain and an incredible person, yeah.
Because obviously, I suppose you could go on all day about the abilities of what's in that squad. What, alongside yourself then, who are the sort of like lads who got a bit of character about them?
No, do you know what's so good about there, mate, is that when you go, it's such a club feel. Honest to God, it's such a club feel. And it might sound daft saying that because it's tough, innit? When you go away and you're away for so long and you just got your hotel room, it's important that I think you integrate with different people, speak about different things, speak about their clubs, what's going on at your club, what's all this sort of thing. So the camaraderie between the players is brilliant. Declan Rice is a big character in that team. Yeah. Massive character in that team. But I can go through them all. Do you know what I mean? Jack Grealish, Kyle Walker, Big Ty, like I'm good mates with Big Tyrone, and massive characters within the team. And I think it helps bring everyone together. It really does, mate. Because
there was an interview recently, and I think Steven Gerrard was there, Rio Ferdinand, and then they threw like Frank Lampard and Scholes in there. And they were quite honest, actually, about saying how it was very cliquey. You know, when they were that generation, the golden generation, they were calling them, weren't they? And they were saying it's very cliquey. So it's really nice now to hear that all of them lads together, you know, it can't be a club feel, can it? If you're going to be successful, like you've said there, you've got to have a good changing room, you've got to have the togetherness.
The manager's done well with that though, hasn't he?
Honest to God, mate, I can't speak more highly of... Mate, you want to see the summer? How they set up St George's.
The next squad being announced soon.
Honestly, but you wanted to see what he'd done with like St George's Park in the summer. It was incredible, mate. Like there was everything there for us. Everything. And I know it might sound... well, it should be or whatever, but the way they'd done it, you could never be in your room. Like, I hate going to my room. I hate it. Like, I'll be pulling people out the room, just come for a coffee and that. They'd put cake on every afternoon, but I hate my room. And Ty, like, loves playing COD and that. I'm like, get off COD. come and have a coffee or come and have a game of pool or darts or whatever. So I hate being in my room, but even the players I've just mentioned there, like players from City, Man United, Liverpool, and there's such a massive part of that squad. Huge part of that squad. It's so good to be a part of, mate.
I saw a couple of the videos where you're all sort of messing about in the pool and there's like the lilos and stuff and you're all battering each other and just it looked brilliant. And that was supposed to be your downtime.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, it is meant to be the downtime. Yeah, but no, absolutely brilliant, mate. Yeah,
class.
So before we get onto the Euros and stuff, big moment for you must have been obviously your first cap.
Yeah,
that must be amazing. But then also your first goal as well.
Yeah,
you haven't scored too many recently, but to score for your country.
Yeah, but if you watch that back, mate, honestly, like. I think you can just tell like the disbelief in my face because I'm just laughing. Like honestly, I score and the ball's incredible. And by the way, from trips, and it's one of them where I'm thinking, do you know what? It's coming over. It's coming over to me. I'm thinking, I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna get this. Next minute, it's on my toe. I've got this. And now it's in the back of the net, and I just ran off and I kind of put my head to the sky, and it's just I feel in a disbelief. If I'm being honest with you, I've scored for my country. It was such a proud moment. I knew how much it would mean to my family, to my wife, my kids, but also to Wolves. Do you know what I mean? Wolves have put me on at that level. Wolves have given me the chance to get to that level. So there was so much things going through my head at that one moment. But honest to God, mate, it was incredible, mate. I never slept that night. I had that many messages on my phone. I watched it over and over again, and it was just so good, mate. Honestly,
I think I sent you one, didn't I? Because it was against Wales.
Yeah, it was against. Do you know what's mad? Do you know Tony Roberts, don't you?
Yeah.
You know Tony. So I said, don't score many. So we've got Tony Roberts at our place now, goalkeeper coach.
He's Wales goalkeeping coach as well.
Yeah, Wales goalkeeping coach. Incredible character, mate. Incredible.
The longest arms I've ever seen on a human.
Honest to God, mate, he's one of the best characters you could ever meet. What a fella. And we're speaking to him. He does our set pieces. So obviously we're working on set pieces to try and score more goals and different things. And he said, so we're chatting Saturday the other day, and he went, do you know the only two people to score against me at international level, set pieces? So I went, no. He went, Sergio Ramos. And fucking you. You scored against me. You scored against me at international level. I was laughing my head off. So I was saying, now, I was like, you need to liven up, you.
Quality.
Honestly.
What about the Euros, when Steve Holland, wasn't it, who said you were the most important player? You then played a minute. I mean, says a lot about you as a person, that does.
Do you know what, mate? I really didn't expect it. So when I seen it, all the lads were giving me a bit of stick.
Yeah,
as you can imagine. I went down for break and everyone's like, what's going on here? What do you give him there? Do you know what I mean? But honestly, when I said I didn't expect it, and to hear something like that from someone like him was incredible. And I get on really well with him, but I get on really well with everyone there. And I always said to myself, like, I'm going to a Euros. It was the biggest thing in my life. It was the biggest thing ever to be chosen for a Euros for my country was remarkable. When I got the call and when I got the message to tell me I was going was absolutely incredible. So to hear that sort of thing, and I just said to myself when I was going, if I was going to play, I was going to play. You do your best, of course, we all do. But if I'm not going to play, that becomes even harder because I'm used to playing. Do you know what I mean? It's hard when you're not playing. And it was making sure, I've mentioned it a few times, sound a bit daft, but I gave the best version of myself every single day to really focus on helping the lads around me. And I think the most important thing, Edo, and you'll say the same, is that some of the hardest training sessions are the ones after the game when the lads have played, they're doing recovery and you've got to train. Yeah. But honestly, I think what made that tournament so successful was them training sessions, because the lads in them training sessions were so on it, mate. I can't tell you how good they were. And they're the sessions that people don't really see. That people have got to graft and give their all and do your running and do your stuff in them sessions to make sure it's right. And we were doing that. So to hear that sort of compliment from him was amazing. Yeah.
So it's an amazing thing to say, though, isn't it? Because like everybody has footballers on a pedestal, but like it's more important to be a good person, isn't it? Like, you know what I mean? And you like show them what a good person you are, regardless of football. Like doesn't matter. Obviously, brilliant footballers, but be a good person first and foremost.
Yeah, I think it's huge, mate, because we're in such a privileged position, aren't we? We're in such a position where we can help people as much as we possibly can. We can do things for people. So many children, so many people look up to us. Look how many people come and watch us on a weekend to play football. It's remarkable. So I think it's so important to be like that, mate. I think it's a massive part of being a footballer first and foremost, and I'm being in that privileged position.
Class. With the Euros, Con, obviously the pressure, because it's in England, pressure on you guys, and we've seen England teams in the past not being able to deal with that. Was there anything different? Did you not feel the expectation inside?
Do you know what's mad, mate? And you might say I'm talking rubbish here. Honestly, you might do. The feeling within inside the camp was excitement, mate. Every single day, looking forward to the games. And we obviously read things and we seen things, and all the press things that were on St George's Park, everything was building up for this tournament, England, and it was huge for people. We understood it. But the way the gaffer made us feel, the way the staff there set us up and made us feel and done things, put us in such a relaxed position that we were ready to go into games and ready for these things that were coming towards us. And I think that was a massive part of it in how they set us up, if I'm being honest with you, mate. So you felt the pressure. Of course you felt the pressure. It's England at a major tournament. But I think the way the gaffer and his staff made us so relaxed was so important moving forward, innit? Yeah.
Were you able to enjoy the games? Because obviously when if you're on the bench and it's a tight game and you know, say everyone's watching it and you're thinking, I might have to come on. Yeah. Could you actually sit back and enjoy it, or was it a bit...
I was like a fan, mate. I'll be honest with you. I was like a fan, mate. I was up and the games were incredible. Honest to God, mate, they were incredible. And I remember one of them when we went and played Ukraine in Italy. So we played in Rome, and what a place, mate. Do you know what I mean? I've never been there. It was incredible. You felt the history. It's like going to an Old Trafford, or you feel the history of when you go there. So we went there, and I remember quite close to Jordan Henderson, and he scored a header obviously in the game, and I shot up, and the gaffer next morning told me about it. I shot up and I'm jumping up heading it like he's just scored, just because I'm buzzing for him, like he's looking over to the bench and I'm jumping up heading it, and he got the video up and shows us the video. I was laughing his head off. But it was just the feeling for the games, mate, was absolutely incredible. So there was always that sense of, I've got to make sure you're ready just in case the moment comes or whatever, but I was enjoying every minute of it. Yeah, it was incredible.
On the flip side, what was it like in the dressing room afterwards, after the defeat?
The final? Yeah. Horrible, mate. The worst dressing room I've been in. Up there, like, I had a bad experience in the semi-final against Watford for Wolves, do you know what I mean? But this was just... If I go back to before the game, there was so much belief running through the team, and that's not overconfidence, that's not me being arrogant in any way, but with how we were playing, we'd got better in each game, I thought each game we got better, and I thought that was a big part of it. And there was so much belief and excitement before the game, and we honestly believed we could win it. And that was from everybody, by the way, not just myself. So when we got back in after the game, it was horrible, mate. And Prince William came in with Prince George, obviously with all his security things. Now I watched The Crown, so when he come in, I was a bit like, Jesus, this is mad. This. So me and Amy watched The Crown quite a bit. Do you know what I mean? So it was like, Prince William, this is mad. Do you know what I mean? And he spoke, and it was such the perfect time to speak, because the dressing room was low, the lowest that I've ever seen anything in my life. And obviously the boys who missed, and obviously everybody was trying to come round the boys who missed. It was such a hard moment. And he came in and spoke. And he just spoke about how much the team, the lads, the players, the staff, everybody had brought the country back together after what had been probably the hardest time in the country for however many years. And what the lads had given to the country, the excitement it's brought to children, all this sort of thing. And it was such a perfect moment to speak. And it was that was a big positive from it, but it was a horrible experience. Yeah.
I think it's hard for the lads to understand though the impact like on all us, because we're all fans and all our kids, like the impact you lads have got like getting to that final. Do the lads like understand the magnitude of what's happening there though, do you think?
Yeah, I honestly believe they do, because I can't tell you how many top lads are in that dressing room, and we mentioned good people, haven't we?
I don't mean that. I think when you're in a football bubble, like the impact you have is just like it's gigantic.
I think especially something like that, especially in this country. Yeah. Even I go off my own children. Like my kids love football anyway, but that was just like football.
Yeah, the whole country was just like everything. Like our school, we went in late because the match finished late, so the whole school we went in late and everything. This the whole country was so behind it. You just what a difference you made to loads of people's lives.
It was incredible, mate. And like I said, him coming in speaking and actually saying that to us was such a perfect moment for him to do that, even though it was so low. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it was very low in there.
Go from that. Try and bring it back up a little bit now.
Well, we need to have a little few. Need to pick a five-a-side team, don't we, at some point? But I've got a question just before we do that. Who are the best fans, Wolves or Liverpool?
Wolves. Come on. Yeah, of course. You played for him, mate. Yeah. You played for him. Well, you say you're not going to say Shrewsbury. You're not going to say Shrewsbury fans,
What was the celebration or something? Did he do a celebration in front of the Kop or something? Something like that?
No, I think he's done I've seen you do a dive in front of the Kop.
Stop it.
What was that then? Tell us that, Dave.
So right in front of the Kop, he has thrown himself down for. Is it for a penalty you tried to get?
I won it. What do you mean? I won it, and it got overturned. Yeah. Oh, it was shocking, Edo.
So you had the embarrassment of VAR looking at it.
So, mate, honest to God, he's right. I can't believe you brought that up, mate. It's one of my most embarrassing moments. And the lads when I've been away, Hendo and that, batter me, mate. So every time I got on the ball, the Kop booed me, mate. I played with Liverpool growing up, the Kop booed me. So, literally, you've been there. Don't say you've not been there. So, ball was in the box, and it's bounced, and Sadio Mane's put his foot up, and I'm thinking, he's not seen me yet. Now, by the way, a million footballers do this, because they're just cleverer than me at doing it. Do you know what I mean? They actually get contact. So, he's put his foot up, about to clear the ball. I'm thinking, I've got to the ball first here. Nick the ball, and I'm thinking he's going to go right through my foot, and I'm thinking to myself, this is beautiful. Because I was at fault for the first goal. They were 1-0 up and I was at fault for the first goal. So I'm thinking, I'm going to win a pen here. Beautiful, go on. And he was so quick, he pulled out the tackle. I'm already down. I'm gone. I'm already down. Next minute, I'm thinking, don't blow your whistle. Whistle goes, penalty. Right, so I'm thinking...
Did you not just feel like turning around at that point saying...
Right, I was so close. So, but they knew straight away. So like I said, I'm good mates with Hendo. He was going mad at me, like calling me a cheat, effing blinding, the whole lot, battering me, you cheat. But I stood up and I ran right back, right? And this is no word of a lie. As I'm running back, Salah goes to me, come on, my friend, you can't do this. I looked at him and I went, come on.
Glass houses.
Oh, come on. But honestly, I ran back and like all the lads saying to me, he's at pen, I'm going, he's going to see it now and just overturn it. But I was gutted he'd give it. Yeah. But you know where I'm coming from in a situation when you think someone's going to get you. Yeah. When you think someone's going to touch you.
You preempt it, don't you?
I swear, mate. And you're on your way. And I was gone. I'm thinking to myself, I'm not fault for the first goal. I'm going here. I'm going. Every time I got the ball, it booed me. Whistled me. The whole lot, mate. The whole lot. So,
What about your mum and dad and that? Were they a bit raging with you?
No, they weren't. No, like, to be fair, when I got home, like, my dad had a bit of a laugh about it. Do you know what I mean? He was like, what are you doing?
What did the score finish up?
4-1. Got beat. Yeah, he battered us. They were good that game as well, by the way. But goes to 1-1, different game, innit?
Yeah, of course it is, mate. Of course it is again. You've got to stick with you, haven't they?
Exactly. So go then, Conor, you have to pick your five-a-side team. You made it in the Dave's five-a-side. What was your... Dave's team was decent, wasn't it? Joe Hart in goal, Conor centre off.
Yep.
You just got there ahead of me, Conor.
Neves centre mid.
Ramsey.
With Aaron Ramsey, Gareth Bale up front. That's a decent five-a-side team, that, isn't it?
So we've got a league at the moment. I'm at the top.
Well, mine was decent.
Well, the way Sam said that was insinuating mine isn't.
Let me tell you mine before we got to gather.
Have you ever heard of Jeff Minton?
Mine was Joe Hart, McAteer at the back. I got Lee Clark in centre mid, didn't I? And I went Quinn Phillips up front from back in the
team. Five below head height.
Phillips. Michael Bridges on the bench. I didn't mention that. What was yours?
Joe in goal. Neil Sorvell. He's a midfielder, but playing very much like yourself. Yeah. Very much like yourself, that number 4 and Henderson type player. The non-league, Maradona, Jeff Minton, Ben Smith, another player that used to play with his laces undone. And then I went up to, I fell with Michael Symes, didn't I? Fella Scouse, I don't know if you remember Symes. He'd be older
Everton
than you.
he was.
Was it Everton?
Wasn't he?
Yeah.
Basically,
Michael
Connie, your team's challenging Dave's because that
But Gav will still be hanging on to a European place, won't you, in fourth?
Yeah, I would have thought so, yeah. Well, you say fourth, I back myself in the third, fourth playoff against Sam's team. Because it's, it's no above head high. You can't play Quinn up front, can you?
He's his son team, though, by the way, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
That was his son team, innit?
Yeah, and it's horrible because he calls him Gaz, Bailey and Ramo and that.
So what was yours? Say it again. So Joe
in goal.
Yeah.
You centre half.
Yeah. Nice to be part of that.
Rambo and Neves in midfield. And then
up front. And Jota on the bench. Jota on the bench.
Yeah. I know Jota's face off.
We were just sat there, just covering our faces going, oh, God.
We shouldn't have let Dave go first. I just went, and I've picked 5 as well.
Mine, I would go with John Ruddy in goal.
Big call,
but Jose Sarr has been incredible.
By the way, Sarr's top drawer, just because I've spent a lot of years with John and I know firsthand how good he is. And what he done in that championship year, I thought was top draw. But Sarr, by the way, Sarr's right up there. Yeah. And I'm only going John because I've been with John for a lot longer. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? That's the only reason. Sarr's obviously half a season now, nearly a full season. So I'd say Big John in goal. I'd go with, because it's 5-a-side, I'm thinking about tactics. And
this was me.
Yeah.
See, Con,
do you know what I mean? I'm thinking about how we're going to play.
Lads,
do you know what I mean?
Mate, these two don't get it.
Centre half, I'm going to go John Stones. What a player. Yeah. What a player, mate. Honestly, composed, top defender.
Seems a great lad as well.
Yeah, brilliant lad. I'd go John Stones, even though, by the way, at Wolves, big volley and all that, it'd be a close. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Close, but I just go John Stones because
I fancies him a little bit as well.
We're going 5-a-side and I want to play. Do you know what I mean?
Better than my centre half already.
Yeah. So I'd go Stonesy. I'd go same as Edo, Ruben. I'd go Ruben Neves. Incredible, mate. What a football player. And as I mentioned before, one of the best I played with. I'd go Ruben. See, now it gets tough, doesn't it? Now it gets tough.
Got a lot of technical players you played with, yeah.
A lot of technical players,
a bit of stealing there, Con.
I've got a lot of technical players. I'd go Ruben Neves. I think it's really hard to look past Joao Moutinho. I think it's really hard to look past Moutinho with how good of career he's had and how good he's been for us. I think it's hard to look past Joao. And then up top.
He doesn't want to let down any of his Wolves mates, does he?
I don't want to leave out. I don't want to leave out Raul, but no, up top I go Harry Kane. Kane.
Any honourable mentions for any other players like
millions,
midfielders?
Millions, mate.
We'll give you 3 subs.
But you give us 3 subs. Yeah. Raheem Sterling. Yeah. Raul Jimenez. And they're all going to be strikers, by the way. I'm going for the game, mate. I'm not sitting off. I'm going for the game. Raul Jimenez, Raheem Sterling, and
get an injury, play yourself back there, can't you?
And do you know what I'm going to go for? Mason Mount.
Yeah, great call.
Incredible football.
Wow, what a 5-a-side team that is.
Is that better than Dave's?
Some game.
It's going to be some game.
I think it's going to come down to my defence.
You've got a weak link there. You're worrying. He'll get pinned by Harry Kane in the box.
I'd pay pay-per-view. I'd pay pay-per-view.
Conor, thank you so much. That was amazing. Listeners, you can't fail to have enjoyed that. Brilliant. Thank you so much for your time. Class that.
No problem at all. Thank you for having me, mate. Honestly.
Amazing, Con.
Thank you for everything. Thank you for having me. Pleasure day.
Gav, what do we do? How do we get in touch
if people want to listen to it, it's all on all platforms. We're on In the Stiffs on Twitter, on Facebook and Instagram. And if you want to email us, we're inthestiffs@gmail.com.
Conor will share us on Instagram, won't he?
Of course he will. Of course he will, mate. No problem at all.
What a guy. Thanks, Con.
Yeah.
Cheers. Thanks for having me, everyone. Cheers.
Superb.